up, everybody? Welcome to Tiny Housin. It's volume 33. Volume 33 today. You can see I got pretty far along on the cleanup project here. And it's really pretty late here on Wednesday night. There's still a little, there's some little pieces of stuff on the floor. Some of these things that you see are chips and nicks from what they did last weekend. Some of it just needs a little sweep up. But I'm about to have a little bit of salad, a bowl of some salad and some orange juice, and I'm getting ready to kick it and relax for the night. I got some stuff done today, have more energy than I had yesterday, but we'll talk. I got a long video ahead for you. I'm going to try and put it together on my phone and just hit the button, let it compile, and let it upload. If I don't have enough room on my phone, I'll get it up there sometime tomorrow night, probably. Anyway, that's it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is Tiny Housin, volume 33, I guess. Something like that. I'll start off the video. This isn't the first segment I recorded, but this will be the first one that I put in. I'm just going to give you the mileage update. I just, once a week, like I said, typically on Tuesdays. This week it was mostly Wednesday. I have to update my personal stuff. Financial records and just, reconcile my accounts, make sure I know where all the money is and how much is coming in. And, it makes sense to do all that stuff at least once a week. Like I've said this before, but when I started getting serious about keeping that stuff organized, it made a huge difference. I started paying I didn't have to set up an actual budget. But by getting super organized, I started paying all my bills on time. I knew exactly how much was in each account. I started getting more credit cards, but being responsible with them. Keeping the balances paid off, increasing my available credit so that it would open up more opportunities for, I got myself a really good vehicle loan because I had built my credit up to a degree. And, always paying my bills on time. Maybe, sometimes I'd pay the rent late because the landlord lived right down the street and they were like 2 miles away. And if they were really going to be hard on me, they could send me a text and I'd be right down there. So, but like credit card payments, you're 1 day late on your credit card payment. That's a $50 hit to your bank account because now you owe them a $50 late fee, so you don't want to mess that up. Utility bills, all that kind of stuff. I've started getting really organized with everything, and it made a world of difference. So when I got out of prison, I said, I'm going to be meticulous about that from day one. It doesn't mean I organize it every single day, but I rarely go more than a week without sitting down to update it. This time it took me an hour this week. Last week it took me 2. The week before that it took me 2. But a couple other things before I do the Strava update. By sitting down to do my finance and just organize things, I have a goal to have 2 months rent in the bank at all times. It doesn't necessarily have to be in one bank account, but across 2 checking accounts and things like Google AdSense and stock photography sales and Etsy and the digital chicken bucket, whatever the case may be. Receivables. If I send out an invoice for work that I'm doing, that counts, even though it's not in the bank yet. There's an invoice sitting out there that needs to be paid. So I'm trying to make sure that I have twice as much available money than rent. That's like a survival mechanism. If I have 2 months rent set aside that I don't touch and treat that as if I'm zero, then I can pay next month's rent and have money left over for the bills and the other stuff. March 1st came around and I paid my rent. I actually paid it sooner than that. But I had a lump in my throat because of how low it made my funds go. I had a lot of expenses for the month of February. I moved into this tiny house. I didn't even have a spoon or a pot to cook with. I didn't have silverware. I have lots of random things that made it down here. But it was chaos, and I couldn't, when I packed my stuff to put in storage when I became homeless, it was chaos. It was chaos when the FBI dragged me off to federal prison. It was chaos when I grabbed as much as I could fit in a U-Haul cargo van when I became homeless and somebody went to store my stuff for me. And then it was chaos when I went and picked through what was left there to take some stuff to Texas with me. Chaos, 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 and some stuff made it here. Weird, random stuff where, like, why do I have this weird thing but I don't have these basic things? And so I've been dealing with that the whole month of February. Now that I have my own place, and it was just one thing after the next after the next. And so when I went to pay rent for March, it was like, boo! Like, I was scared to death of looking at the numbers. Right now, today, when I look at the numbers, when I pay my next rent payment, I am not going to be where I want to be in terms of my flatline goal, but significantly higher, almost twice as much in the bank as I had the last time I paid rent. So when I pay the rent for April, what's going to be left in the bank should be just about twice as much as what was left in the bank after I paid my rent for March. So that's an improvement. That's a jump up. And if I look at my monthly expenses on the pie chart at the end of March, I think I'm going to see a significant drop in a lot of categories. There's going to be a lot of stuff that there are a few things I've bought through the month of March, but it's been a lot more conservative. And this is the same thing. When I first moved to Texas and I moved into my friend's house, I had some things. I had some clothes. I had some stuff. I had, computer equipment. I had different things. But I needed a bicycle for transportation, and I needed some stuff to go with it. And I dropped a pretty penny. It was big. I paid off my fines. I got bicycle equipment. I paid off my fines. I had to buy some clothes. I had to buy a pair of shoes. Some different things. And it added up, and it was like, boom, it was a big chunk of money, and I was pretty much flat broke when all that was done, and I was a little bit scared. Over the next few months, each month, the expenses went down and down and down, and the amount I was able to save went up and up and up. And so by the time I found this tiny house, I had a decent amount of money in the bank, considering that I'm making practically nothing. So I had some money in the bank to pay the down payment to move in here, to pay for the rental van so that I could move my stuff, and also spend a month just buying whatever random stuff. I mean, look at the water filter back there. That was an expense. This chair behind me, it's not that great of a chair. Better than the one I got at Target, but still, I don't think it sucks. But it's, whatever. These are all expenses that I've had to fork over. And since I moved in here, bicycle tools. I bought an extra bicycle, things like that, and it all added up. So the month of March, when I first moved here, September, October, November, December, January, each month got a little bit lower. In fact, in some months were half of what the month before cost. But then I moved into this place, and now I'm on my own, and now I've got to buy a bunch of stuff I didn't have to buy when I was living with my friend's house. So the first month is expensive. The second month is less expensive. Hopefully the next month gets less expensive, less expensive, less expensive. Save. There's going to come a day where I go to buy a car. Boom, I'm going to get hit with a tsunami of expenses again. and it's going to be an expense, and I'm going to be and it's going to go through that, hopefully the same cycle, where each month subsequent to a major purchase like that gets easier and easier to deal with. Trying to make moves on the job front. I tried to do a bunch of random things today. I'm still not where I need to be. I don't want to cut my time at the bakery to less than 3 days a week right now. I want to, but I don't know how to deal with that situation right now. I'm wondering if it would be more feasible to go like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then try to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off and have 4 days off in a row and try to squeeze my bakery time into 3 days in a row. I don't know. I got to talk to the manager and see what she would have to say about it. I think she fully understands why I put my availability for 3 days, and she's giving me all the hours I'm asking for. So we're cool. I like her. She seems to like me. And she's at least accommodating that right now, and I think she fully understands that my reason for what I'm asking for is due to the distance and the fact that I'm traveling on bicycle. But you've got other people at work there that have college, so they can't work in the mornings, or they can't work in the evenings because they've got class, or their school schedule is what dictates when they can come into work, and they seem to work with everybody on their schedule. So I don't want to just throw that away. But you'll see as this video moves on, you're going to see that, like, I woke up yesterday, boy, I was beat, completely destroyed. This morning I felt a little better. Today, right now, I feel even better. It seems as the day went on today, I got more and more energetic. I've got a lot of things done today, but I don't feel like I got what I'm supposed to get done. And so with that, I will jump into the Strava update. Those of you who watch the channel, I'm trying to get 2,000 miles of adventure for 2025. Whether it be on the bicycle, whether it be walking, hiking, if somehow I go skiing, it could be on a boat, it could be on a kayak, a canoe, it could be any kind of human-powered adventure. If it could be on a pedaling bicycle bar with 30 other people. Anything that involves human power that you can record with a GPS, whatever it may be, I'll count that as a miles of adventure. But pretty much what I'm expecting for this year is going to be hiking and biking. Walking and hiking I count as the same thing. So right now for the mileage update, 927.7 miles so far this year. 890.8 miles on the bicycle, 36.8 miles on foot. That leaves me with 1,072.3 miles left to reach my goal, and it's not even the end of March. I should get 90 more miles this week. I got 2 days at the bakery, plus I'll probably go for a walk on Sunday. That'll add up to about 90 miles. So by the end of this week, I will be, if everything goes according to what I'm supposed to do, I'll be halfway finished with that goal in less than 3 months. January, I did 141 miles. February was 484 miles. March, I have 303 miles so far. Right now, I'm on pace for March to get 560 miles for the month. Right now, my average is 312.5 miles per month, but that only averages January and February together. So that was leaving me with the need to average 133.46 miles per month to get that 2,000 after February. But now, March, it's looking like I'm on pace to get 560 miles this month. So at the end of this month, if that works out to be the right number, I'm only going to need to go 90.6 miles each month for the remainder of the year to get to my 2,000 mile goal. But if things keep moving forward, if I average January, February, and what I should get for March, and then multiply that by 4, because that's the first quarter of the year right there, basically I'm on pace to do 4,740 miles this year at the current pace. I mean, that's closing in on 5,000 miles by the time the year is over. But anything can happen. You know, there are many different things that could take place right now that can significantly reduce the mileage, and I'm hoping for those to take place right now. You'll see throughout the rest of this video, it's pretty much my focus today. Anything can happen though, anytime. I could get an email or a phone call tomorrow. My goal is to not be riding so much. I'm looking for a job. If I have to continue working a part-time job, I'm hoping to get something I can walk to. I've applied to a lot of places that are just right on the other side of the highway from me. 10-minute walk. Or get a remote work from home job where I don't have to walk anywhere. And I want to get a car. I would love to get a car. I got to figure this out before I can get a car. The money's just not going to be, I'm not going to be able to get enough money saved away for a car unless somehow I can change and improve my income situation. So ultimately, I want these miles of adventure to be for fun and not out of necessity. The last time I set a goal for a miles of adventure goal, where I set a goal for 1,000 miles in a year. I've talked about this in other videos. I did it for fun, and I was on pace to hit my goal by July. That year I was on pace that by the end of July it was looking like I was going to hit my goal, and then all of a sudden the activity stopped cold because a lot of things changed in my life all of a sudden, like I just mentioned. And all of a sudden I wasn't going hiking, I wasn't going biking, I wasn't doing all the fun things because a bunch of nonsense started to take place at a company I was working for, and I had to put all my energy and time into getting out of that company and finding a new job. And that the whole situation just ate up my free time and energy. So at the end of the year, like 3 days before, like it was like Christmas Eve or something. I think it was Christmas Eve. I went out hiking with this girl I was hanging out with, and somehow magically when we got back from that hike, I plugged into Strava and it was 1,000.0 miles for the year. And it was kind of funny because I was thinking I wasn't going to hit the goal that night because we cut our hike a little bit short, and so I was like, well, at least I can't say I didn't try. And I kind of got to the point where I was like, well, if I'm that short, if I'm only like a mile short, I'm going to put my GPS on and I'm just going to go walk around the block a couple times on Christmas Day or something when I have, even if it's cold or whatever, I'll find a way to get that to trip over 1,000 miles. But it was my last chance of the year. Now there's some time between Christmas and New Year's. You know, I could have made it happen, but I was going to be busy, it's cold, it's the weather, all the stuff. It really didn't feel like it was going to happen. But I got to 1,000.0 and I was like, woohoo! So this time, it's got that similar kind of vibe where, like I said, I'm into March and I'm almost halfway. In fact, by the end of March, I'll be more than, if everything is going the way it's going right now, by the end of March, I'll be more than halfway there. I'll be over 1,000 miles and then some. And I'll only need to ride 90 miles. I'll only need to travel 90 miles per month for the rest of the year. And if, April is another, 600 mile month or whatever, every time I get one of these, 500 to 600 mile months, the remaining months, it's going to get down to where I only have to do 10 miles per month to meet my goal. I could meet the goal by June at this pace. So, but I just remember the last time I set a goal like this, it seemed like it was going to be cake. It was going to be a cakewalk. And then all of a sudden something changed and I wasn't getting the miles anymore. Now, right now, I'm doing it out of necessity. So I either have to walk or bicycle everywhere I go. There is no public transportation that I'm aware of in Houston. There's nothing here. I can't afford to take an Uber everywhere I go. My best friend lives 5 miles away from here, and he's got his own life. So, I mean, if I was in a pinch or a bind, or if I had a good reason or a situation, I could be like, hey, you think I could get a ride for, this or that or the other reason, but that's not something I'm like, I'm not tapping into that unless it's like, unless I need something for the tiny house, for example, like not that I can fit furniture in here, but like, let's just say I got to pick something up that's heavy and my buddy could possibly help me out with that. I might reach out and say, hey, if you got time, can we do this or that, whatever. He'd be probably cool with that. Be like, I'll go out, I'll buy us dinner or whatever. Give him gas money. So that's the update for the mileage. The mileage itself isn't killing me. I enjoy the biking. I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy the weather. I enjoy everything that goes with that part of it. But when you combine it with riding 21 miles to work at a heavy-duty labor job where you're working for 8 straight hours, and then you turn around and you got to ride your bike 21 miles to get home, and then you get home, how much energy would you have left if it was you at the end of the day? I really don't know that many people who would come home from that and say, be like the Tasmanian devil and got all kinds of energy to clean and do freelance work and do all this other shit. And so it's all building, it's all piling up now. And I was having a better, when I was living at my friend's house and it was a 15-minute bike ride to the job and back, each way, 15 minutes. It took me more time to get ready to do the bike ride than it would take to do the bike ride. It would take me more time after my shift to get changed into my clothes to ride my bike home than it would take to ride my bike home. But I'd get back to the crib and I'd have energy. I wasn't completely spent. I would have energy. I could sit in front of a computer. I could do stuff. Especially if I worked from like early in the morning and got home at 3 in the afternoon, and I'd have like 4 hours in the evening I could put into something. That's not the case now. For 4 days, I'm completely annihilated. I'll feel better tomorrow than I do today, and then by the end of the day, Friday, that's it. I'm done. Then I got to do it again on Saturday. I'm super done. Sunday, I'll just limp through the day. And then Monday I got to do it again, and then that's the Monday's the worst of the 3 days, and by the time Tuesday morning comes, I'm not even going to be able to stand up on my feet. That's what happened this week. That's what happened yesterday. I got out of bed. I couldn't even walk to the toilet. I was limping. I was like, my wrist was beat up, like from lifting 50-pound bags of flour. I know about 50 comments from that down in the troll section. My wrist was like sore from heavy lifting. My whole body was just a train wreck, complete train wreck. From the cycling, the heavy lifting, the standing on my feet for 8 hours, all of it. It's like, somebody left a shitty comment in today's video about everybody has to work, shut the fuck up, stop complaining. That fucking douchebag wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. He'd die in 3 fucking days. So, whatever. I'm gonna do what I have to do to survive. But if I want to get from survive to thrive, this ain't the way. It's just not the way. It's not going to work. So I have to find the energy. I gotta, hopefully I get some luck. I planted a lot of seeds today. I sacrificed other things that I need to get done to plant seeds that will hopefully, possibly, maybe result in some phone calls and meetings that will give me a pathway to get out of this grind that I'm currently doing right now, because this grind that I'm dealing with right this minute, it just isn't going to last. I knew this from February 1st when I moved into this tiny place, and I had a couple of days to get settled in here before I had to do my first bicycle commute to that, the long distance. And, I did it a couple of times and it wasn't too bad. And then now that I'm doing it over and over and over again, there's a level of fatigue and it's just starting to wear down. It's like you got an old car and you're putting tons of miles on it. And it don't matter how many times you take that thing to the shop, how many times you change the oil, and how many times you put gas in it. It's just you're on an inevitable downhill slope. Eventually, that car is just gonna go and die on you. If you want to take care of a vehicle to where it's gonna last forever, you need to bring it into the shop, and you basically got to be a mechanic and really maintain and fix things and make sure that you catch things before they become problems, and so on and so forth. And if you're good at that, you can make a car last forever. It's like the difference between owning a classic car that you maintain at a showroom car show level. You drive it and you use it and you enjoy owning it, but you make sure that thing's always in tip-top shape and you take care of it. And then you've got your daily driver, your grocery go-getter, your winter beater, if you live up north. And you just drive that thing and you don't have time and the money and the energy to put into what needs to be done to maintain it. So it's just on a downward slope, and eventually the engine's just going to fall off and be laying on the side of the road somewhere, because that was the end of it. And I'm the jalopy right now. I'm the winter beater right now. I'm not the car show vehicle right now. I'm literally I'm putting miles on a grocery go-getter and a winter beater, beating it and beating it and beating it and beating it. Here comes the troll section again. But no, I'm beating the crap out of this body to get through this survival situation, but I'm not able to do what it takes to fix what's breaking. As it's breaking, it's just going to continue to crumble and fall apart as this moves on, unless I can put the brakes on and bring it back into the garage and take care of what needs to be taken care of. So that's what I need to put in time on that. It sucks. It's taken away. I just can't keep up with everything else that I have to do until I get rid of this sideshow. It's like, they say there's this 80-20 rule, and you can use the 80-20 rule in lots of different ways. 80% of the effort results in 20% of the income. There's lots of different 80-20 ratios out there that people call it the 80-20 rule. Right now, I'm putting 80% of my time and effort to make 20% of my income. And then I've got 20% of my time and effort to make 80% of my income. I should be spending 90% of my time on what makes the 80% of my income. And I would have more confidence to just drop everything and do that. But then I got a probation officer who's going to come banging on my door and say, you're going to federal prison because you quit your job, or you're not working enough hours, and I can't see your paycheck stubs and all this and that. And Big Brother's up my ass. And so if I can find a better paycheck job, even if it's not full time, if I can just improve that one aspect in one way or another, it will free me up so much. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I spent today on. Tomorrow I got to spend on design work. Friday and Saturday I'm done. Sunday, forget about it. I already know. Monday I'm done, hosed, completely destroyed. I will be completely and utterly destroyed when I come home on Friday. I'll probably record a video and go right to sleep. I probably won't even eat after I get home. Tuesday, I'm going to wake up completely annihilated. And then I'm going to spend Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday trying to recover from the damage I did. And I'm going to be in worse shape next Thursday than I'll be tomorrow. And every Thursday that follows, as long as I'm living this pattern, every time Thursday gets here, I'm going to be half as good as I was the Thursday before. And eventually I'm just going to fall apart. Like, it's not, I'm just physically going to crash from it. A lot of people are like throwing mad respect that I'm able to do this and that I'm dedicated enough to and motivated enough to put myself through Hell Week, basically. It's not, it's kind of like, Navy SEAL training. It's kind of what I'm looking at this situation. I like David. If you ever read David Goggins' book called Can't Hurt Me, make sure you get the unfiltered version where he drops an F-bomb every other sentence. That's the one you want to read. You don't want to read the one that's filtered and clean. You want to read it from his mouth. He talks about Navy SEAL training. He went through it 3 times. He failed the first 2 times, but if you fail because you get injured and you don't quit, they let you come back and try again. He had to go 3 times before he got through and became a Navy SEAL. But to make a long story short, Navy SEAL training is probably one of the most grueling, hardest human trials that you could possibly put yourself and your body through. Hands down. One of the most brutal, I think it's like 2 weeks of your life. Most people quit. There's a bell. You go up and ring the bell when you've had enough, when you want to tap out. The only other way to quit is they can force you to quit. The instructors can just kick you out. Or if you break your leg, if you break your arm, if you have an injury, a serious injury, if they have to medically remove you, you can, if that's the case, you can come back and try again when you heal, but you're going to have to wait until the next Hell Week. So basically Hell Week is exactly what they call it. And if you can survive that, if you can put up with it, if you can grind your way through that, and once you get past that and there's like, a big celebration, you made it. You're still going to have to go through 3 to 6 months of Navy SEAL training. And it's going to become, you're going to be kind of specializing in one thing or another. What your role is going to be in the Navy SEALs. It could be, there's a lot of different things you could end up doing that could be your job, your role with the Navy SEALs. And you're going to get more general training, and you're going to get more specialized training, and you're still going to get your ass kicked month after month after month. But none of it is as hard and as difficult as that Hell Week that they put you through in the very beginning. And it's kind of like, once you reach that Hell Week, once you reach that peak, now it's like you can't coast to the finish line, but you can see the finish line. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and now you're starting to, you're there. If you made it this far, chances are the next 5 months are going to be easy as hell compared to that 2 weeks of absolute misery and hell and torture that you went through to get where you are. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at, what I'm doing right now. I'm basically in Hell Week, Hell Month, whatever you want to call it. I'm in 6 weeks of misery right now. It's wearing me down. That week that I did 250 miles on the bicycle with one 8-hour shift after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. That was my Hell Week. That was literally Hell Week for me, because that's like 13, 14 hours a day of nonstop physical exhaustion for 5 or 6 straight days of that. hell week, hell week, hell week, hell week, hell week, whole week. Yeah, I made some money at that. Not a lot. Not the abuse versus the money wasn't an even trade, but I feel like if I could just make it through this stretch and get to something, get past this without ringing the bell, if I can just get through the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the rest of March, if I can start April off on the right foot with some sort of prospect, some sort of positive momentum, in some sort of who knows what. I really don't know what form it'll take. But if I could I could look back at the end of 2025 at February and March and be like, wow, that was horrid, but look where we are now. And I might be able to sit back and relax for a minute and enjoy cycling instead of being forced to cycle. I'm riding a bike to survive right now. I'm not riding it because it's fun. I enjoy it. I love doing it. But when it's for survival instead of fitness and fun, it's not the same. It's not the same experience. So we're just going to leave it at that. I'm going to say peace out. There's going to be a few other peace outs before I finally say peace out for good today. But it is what it is. I'll talk to you later.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. Tiny Housin, volume 33. And I just woke up this morning. Took a little bit of time to I wake up slow on my days away from the bakery. That wouldn't be the case if I didn't have that bakery job anymore. I could get out of bed earlier and get moving quicker, but I'm in recovery mode from the bicycle. Like the amount of physical exhaustion that I'm going through every time I go into that job right now is just in the stratosphere. But yeah, yesterday I did a pretty good, got my tiny house cleaned pretty good. If you look, you can see where they finished. I'm just going to pan the camera around. You can see they finished the ceiling up to a certain point. And so I basically deep cleaned the tiny house up to that point. And now the rest of it didn't get as trashed. There are some things that I'm going to clean off and pull apart today and vacuum up. Just throughout the day, I'll take little breaks, half hour, go turn on the vacuum, clean this up, wipe this down, whatever. But I got the bulk of it done yesterday. I did get a second wind. If you watched the last video all the way through, you could just see the progression of how I crash and burn over a period of a few days, because that video was recorded from the 15th, which was, let's see, so today is the 19th, so yesterday was the 18th, 17th, Saturday. I started recording that video Saturday when I came home from the bakery, and the sun was out. It was in the afternoon. I got sent home early, not as early as Friday. Basically, the hours I worked last week will add up to 2 days out of a week, but it took 3 days of my life away to do it. Let's see. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it was Saturday. The video covered Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And I think if you watch it and you see all the little segments adding up, you can just see I'm going downhill energy-wise. Today is the first day I feel better than the day before. I woke up at around, I finally got up at like 8. I'm finally able to, if I had nothing going on at all, Like yesterday, I'm not kidding, I could have just wrote off the day and slept the entire day away. I could have I could have just turned on some videos and laid in bed watching videos, or just slept. I could have just slept the entire day away. Um, I had different reasons. I thought I was going to do more yesterday, but my body was like, "Nope, you're not." Today, I'm in a different place today. I got a good amount of rest. Yesterday was a bit of a high stress day, but at the same time, I got rest. I got laundries done. The floor in the tiny house is starting to look good, and on this air conditioner over here, it's like a window unit. Um, the window is it's sealed pretty decent around. There's not air and open spaces there. It's a weird unit. It's got like a little sliver that comes. There's a big box outside the tiny house, and then there's the part that goes inside the house. But where the window comes down, it's not like those old ones where it's just a big giant box. It's got like a slot at the bottom. So there's like a slot for the window to come almost completely down on this thing. And so the bulk of the noise and all the stuff is outside. It's pretty quiet. It's a little louder right now than normal because I found out that it has a setting like a dehumidifier, and that is a game changer. Once I saw that and I turned it on, within 3 to 4 minutes, this place, the humidity level and the comfort level was completely transformed. I don't know if there's moisture in the wood that they put in the ceiling. Something changed over the weekend to where there was always a little bit of a tackiness, humidity wise, in the air inside this place. And that's why I asked the landlord, I said, you'd be better off putting a dehumidifier in here than a second air conditioner. Because this air conditioner, so far, even when it's 85 degrees, it'll make this tiny house ice cold. Ice cold. Like, I could turn this tiny house into a walk in refrigerator if I wanted to with this AC unit. I can't take it. It's too cold. Um, I have to kind of finesse with the temperature controls to get it just right. Um, Especially this time of year because it's the middle of the night, it gets down to like 40 degrees. But during the day, it gets up to 85, closing in on 90. And so the temperature swing makes it difficult because I've got a tiny little space heater in here to keep it warm. If the AC is running all night, even when even with the thermostat set at like 77 degrees, it'll get ice cold in here because it's pulling air from the outside and blowing it in. But that dry setting on the, I gotta figure out how to get an instruction manual for this thing because it doesn't have one, or there isn't one sitting in here. So I don't know all the ins and outs of how this thing works, but it's dried out. It's got nice. The humidity level in this place is perfect now. And yesterday, it only took like 5 minutes before it started to feel really nice, and then I just let it run on that setting all day and night, and it's perfect in here. Um, Made a huge difference with the floor as well because now I can take the little spray mop, um, little microfiber mop with some cleaning spray, and I can mop the entire floor, and it dries within less than 5 minutes. It's dry. Whereas before I found that setting on this unit, that this floor would stay damp for hours. It would just kind of feel tacky, and just the humidity wasn't right. But lo and behold, the answer to my problems was right there all along, which is nice. Um, I'm really kind of upset that I only have 2 days now to try and get as much done as I can, and then I've got to go back to Hell Week. Friday, Saturday, and Monday. That's 120 miles of bicycling plus 24 hours of backbreaking work plus Sunday. If I depending on what they do with the ceiling this weekend, I got to take all that stuff out of the storage tomorrow and stack it up in here somewhere. There's just a lot of stuff that's got to be done, and I think right now my other than getting them to finish that, which will be beneficial, it'll make this place feel nicer. Um, it'll just be a little more complete. Um, any little thing I can do to improve this tiny house, even especially if it's something I don't have to pay for, is it's a good thing. Um, I am going to do that. I have to get a 4-step stool. I don't, or I can just go borrow the dude's ladder. But the ladder doesn't quite. Or I got all the stuff up there without without a 4-step ladder. So I don't know. I'm kind of like in this. Do I want to get the step ladder today because I can take the old one back to Target when the new one arrives, and the exchange of funds between the two is going to be, it'll end up costing me like $30 to get an upgrade there and a better step ladder. I don't know where I'm going to put a bigger step ladder, but that would be something. I think I see a place I can put it. But that's something that's been on my list in terms of the Target, these exchanges that I want to make with stuff from Target. I don't know. I'm rambling about all kinds of random stuff. I don't have a plan when I sit down in front of this camera. Because I am so incredibly burned out. I am honestly I feel 100 times more burned out right now than I did being homeless in Jamestown. I'm thinking about the days I'd sit at the library, and yeah, and then coming home to life right now is a lot better, but the stress and burnout is so beyond anything I've ever felt in my life. It's like I can think of this doesn't even compare to the most burned out and exhausted and stressed out and just completely shot out I've ever been in my life before this period of my life. This blows that shit right out of the water. Like, it's so beyond. I can't, the words, I can't put it into words. The only way you'd know what it feels like is to be in it, going through it. Like just struggling to survive. Struggling to survive is what it is. It's all it is. But you have no energy left in the tank. Like, I have no energy at all. None. I'll get up today. I'll find a way to get. All I got to do is sit in front of a computer and putz around the house and clean and fold clothes and just basic chores. Yesterday I did find a second wind. And like I said, I cleaned up in here quite a bit. It's going back to looking good again and looking clean and organized again, and I'm happy about that. Basically, the damage, I've undone the damage that was done in terms of the construction and the mess that they left behind. I'm back to, where it's better than it was. It's better now than it was on Friday before the construction stuff started. And I don't know. I got to make some coffee today. Put that in the fridge to brew overnight. It has to be done today. I may have to do 3 bottles. I may have to do 2 at a time, but do like tomorrow, put another one back in the fridge and brew another one, or another two if I can fit them, which I probably can. Um, Between those two milk bottles don't take up a lot of room. I went through some orange juice. I can probably fit I can probably fit 2 gallons of coffee in there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. If I can do that, let's see, well, I take it back, because today's Wednesday. If I get that started today, and I change, and then tomorrow, I won't be able to brew more because I have to work Friday. And this is the killer. This bakery completely this job is completely destroying my ability to live a normal life in any way, shape, or form. I can't even brew cold brew coffee, because tonight I can, but I can only do 2 jars at a time. I don't have the filters to do more. So I can do 2 tonight, and then tomorrow I have to strain it and put it away. But if I wanted to do 2 more jars, I would have to be here on Friday in order to filter those, the final filter step that it takes. And I won't be here on Friday. Not, who knows when I'll be home on Friday. And so I can't do it if there's no game. I don't know what time I'll be home on Friday, and I need to be home by a certain time in order for it to be done right. And I'd have to have the energy and all that. And who knows what I might just go straight to bed on Friday, because I'm going to be a train wreck when I get home. And then I got to go to the bakery again on Saturday, and then I come home from that. And so, yeah, maybe if I have the energy on Saturday, I can fill the jars, fill them with water, put them in the fridge. That means I'd have to empty them and strain them on Sunday, and also try to go to church and try to go grocery shopping. And I'm also going to have to clean the apartment if they come in here. I'm going to have to take all that stuff down if they come in here on Saturday and do more construction and make a big giant mess. Then I'm going to have to put all my stuff, I'm going to have to clean that giant mess, put all my stuff away, which means I'm not going to church, which means I definitely won't be going to church if that's what's going on this weekend. So that's out. The I'll have to empty the coffee. Saturday is the only day I could even attempt to brew it, and that's if I have enough energy after the hell I go through that day. So you can see it in me. You can see how completely freaking I'm gone. I'm completely destroyed from this right now. On the job front, I keep getting I can't switch to my text while I film and talk to you guys. I can't switch to my text message. I'm gonna say the name. Fuck it, because this is another. These stores, these low-paying jobs that are so fucking ridiculous when it comes to how they treat you in the application process. I could literally be applying for a $500,000 job at SpaceX as a rocket scientist and have an easier time getting in the door than Lowe's. Hold on a second. So, if you watched all of my video, the last two videos at least, I've been complaining about how you can't find a wrench, or specifically a set of wrenches at the big box stores. There's a Home Depot right across the street from where I go to church. So it started not last Sunday, but the Sunday before I went to church. After church, I said, Home Depot's right here. Here's an opportunity. You're walking right by. Why don't we go in there? I had a list of 3 things that I'm interested in picking up. You can get that done without having to make an extra trip. On the list, there was a set of open-ended box wrenches, just standard wrenches with the open end on one end and the closed end on the other. The 8 point star, the 6.8 point star wrench. I don't want the ratcheting ones because those are going to break. I just want standard wrenches. Like I'm building a toolkit. I'm building my toolkit from nothing. So I want the basics. I don't want ratcheting box wrenches. I know they're nice. I know they could be convenient at times. Maybe someday when I have money, I'll get a set of those. But I don't want those. I want standard wrenches. I want the basic tools. I don't want, an automatic, a pneumatic nail driver gun, nail gun. I want a hammer. You know what I mean? I want the basics. I was willing to get a hand crank drill. I needed a drill for some things. And the things that I need a drill for, a hand crank drill would actually be fine. And I know you can get those. In a grid down situation where we don't have power, if you have tools that don't need power, you're ahead of the game. So, anyway, I went to go to Home Depot. Their website said that they had sets of wrenches. And they were going to be like $45 or something for the set. And it said they had 8 in stock because they haven't had them in stock since I moved here. It said there were 8 in stock. I go there, none. They have 0 in stock. The employees tell me, oh, our inventory's never correct. The whole thing. They looked around. One guy looked pretty hard, and he went around the store to different places to see if he could find them, the 8 that they said they had in stock. He was like, no, sorry, man, we don't have any of these sets. And because it says they have 8 in stock, they will never, I guarantee you for 10 years, they will never have that in stock. Because the bean counter or the person that goes to order that shit, they won't order it because it says they have 8 of them. So they'll never actually replenish the 0 that they have because their computer keeps saying that they have 8. And so, and these employees don't give a fuck. They're getting paid like minimum wage. They're just like, oh well, less shit for me to lift and put up on the shelf today. Like they don't care. So they had in the clearance section, they had like a Milwaukee wrench set. But I specifically, the one that forced me to go look for a wrench set, I was adjusting the cones on my front wheel of my bicycle, and I needed a 17 millimeter box wrench. And I had some short stubby ones, but the set that I had, the short stubby ones, were missing the 17. I have all the cone. When I bought a set of cone wrenches, I had to do it on Amazon, of course, but the cone wrenches have every single size that you could want. And they were cheap. They weren't expensive, but there were no gaps. It went, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. But I had to use the 17 cone wrench for the cone nut itself. And then there's a locking nut that goes with it. And usually the locking nut isn't the same size, so I should have been able to use 2 cone wrenches for that. But this time they were. It's a different wheel. I needed 2 17s, and I needed the 1 17 for the cone nut itself, and I needed another 17 for the locking nut, and I didn't have one, so I had to go and use, and the stubby box wrench set was missing a 17 and an 18. It went from 16 to 19. There's a gap. When you buy a set of wrenches now, you don't get all the wrenches. They'll leave gaps in there. They'll just give you a few random sizes and say good luck. They used to sell sets that were complete and had every single size that you would need. Now they don't do that anymore at these box marts, and they don't even sell them. I went to Home Depot's, then I went to Lowe's. They had one set that was affordable, but somebody stole wrenches out of the set, so the set was missing wrenches. If somebody hadn't stole the wrench or the wrenches out of the sets, they would have actually had a complete set of decent priced wrenches. But to be honest, the sets that they had were I showed you yesterday. I unboxed the set I got off of Amazon. It had 8 millimeter to 22 millimeter with no missing wrenches in a roll up pouch to store them in. The best you could get at Lowe's, if they had all the wrenches, would have been a 10 millimeter to 20 millimeter. So I got 4 extra wrenches in the set that I got on Amazon, plus a nice pouch to store them in, a roll up organizer pouch. 4 extra wrenches, the pouch, and it was $5 cheaper than the cheapest sets at Lowe's. And so, and then an employee at Lowe's saw that I was irritated. I wasn't like throwing a fit or nothing. I was making a comment in the video with my camera, just like, why can't these stores get their shit together? But one of the employees came over, saw that I was obviously like looking for something I couldn't find. She tried finding something. Nothing. So it just wasn't meant to be. I did get a couple of adjustable wrenches. I don't know if I like them or not. I won't know until I go to use them. If I had one of those, I could have done what I needed to do. The way I got around it was I took an 18 millimeter box wrench, the stubby box wrench, and just hoped for the best. And I used that to tighten the lock nut on my wheel. And because I don't have to torque it down really, really heavy, I was able to get it done with even though the wrench was 1 millimeter too big, I could do it without slipping the wrench. Not the best thing to do, but I was able to get the job done. If I had an adjustable wrench, I would have used that instead. But I didn't, because I don't have any tools. I'm like literally starting from zero. So every time I run into a situation where I'm like, crap, I don't have this tool or that tool. When I was living with my friend, he had a garage full of tools. He didn't have every tool. I was still running into tools that I would need, especially for the bicycle. And I'm like, he didn't have, he had a garage full of tools, big giant toolbox. He has a garage full of tools, but his tools are based on, fixing stuff around the house and doing house projects. That's a different set of tools than working on bicycles. So I would constantly run into a situation where I needed a tool. But now I'm like completely on my own, and I'm running into a situation where I don't even have a basic wrench. And so Lowe's and Home Depot together didn't have the tools. Basic tools. And a giant tool warehouse that takes 15 minutes to walk from one side to the other, they don't have wrenches. I mean, what the... They had a clearance section at Home Depot, and they had a set of Milwaukee box wrenches. And they were actually pretty nice. But when I looked at the sizes, they were missing the 16, 17, and 18 were missing. It went from like 15 to 19 in the set. There's a gap of 3 missing wrenches, and like the set wouldn't come with them. The set was complete. There were no like stolen wrenches or anything like that. It was a complete set. Clearance, had a good price on it. But it was still more expensive than what I paid for this complete set of wrenches that went from 8 millimeter to 22 millimeter. And this set was missing all kinds of sizes. I don't know how many wrenches were in the set, but there were significant gaps, and the gaps were the wrenches that I specifically needed, a 17. I'm like, I can't buy a set unless it at least has a 17. And none of these sets did. The sets that Home Depot said they had 8 in stock, I didn't know what sizes I didn't know what size wrenches were in that set. So I wasn't even planning on buying it, but if it had a 17, I would have bought it just for that reason. So it all worked out. I did, I got the full set, 8 millimeter to 22 millimeter. Now the only wrenches I might need would be for my headset, and those are like a 32 to 36 millimeter range, and they have to be really thin. And Park Tool makes them. There's two wrenches I could buy that would cover all the headset wrench, or all the headset, the old school headsets. There's two wrenches that they're double ended, and it basically covers all four of the common sizes for headsets for old bicycles that take those kind of headsets. And I got a chainring bolt tool yesterday. That was dirt cheap. I was like $5. I need a couple other tools. I have everything to take the crank arms off, but I need a special tool to take the bottom bracket out. I don't really need to take the bottom bracket out, but in my opinion right now, if I think about the Red Rocket bicycle, in order to get the bike down to the bare frame, I'm literally missing one or two small tools, and I can completely strip that bike down to its bare frame. So, and take apart everything, re-grease all the bearings. The only parts I would not be able to remove from the bike are the headset cups and races that are squished into the frame. There are special tools to take those out. The tool to take them out is dirt cheap. The tool to put them back in is expensive. And it's not necessary because I don't plan on changing out my headset unless for some reason I take it apart to re-grease it and I find out that it's trashed and pitted and old. But this is a Campagnolo headset, and other than the nuts, the fasteners, whatever you call them, the nuts, the big giant nuts that clamp together the lock nut and the top race, or the top cup that sits on top of the top tube. They're a little bit rounded off because I've used wrenches that I shouldn't have used on them. And they have the marks to show it. But it's a solid headset. It's smooth. It never loosens up. It's a solid piece. That'll probably go another 50 years in my opinion. As long as I take it apart once every so often and re-grease the bearings and make sure it's all good. So yeah, just one tool at a time, one day at a time to just to build that toolkit back up. The new bicycle I got, still I already know I won't have time to do a tune-up on that. I bought that bike on January 31st. I bought that bicycle. I need to do a tune-up on it. I have not had one single solitary afternoon since January 31st. Now it's March 18th, March 19th. Let me look. It's March 19th. I still don't have a day to do it. This Sunday would be my only opportunity. It's already shot. It's already gone. Like, there's nothing I can do to get this other bike ready to ride. I need to plan on it taking 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. It might not take that long, but chances are it could. And so I need a solid 4-hour block with good weather that I can do this outside just to get that bike done. And then there's some maintenance things I've got to do to the Red Rocket that's going to take, I have to plan on 4 hours for each bike. I would need an entire Sunday. My Sunday this weekend's already shot. I don't even know. I don't even remember what I told you a few minutes ago that I have to do on Sunday. I've never been this strung out and a pile of things to do that I could never possibly get done and just completely strung out, yet I'm getting paid absolutely nothing for the stress. Um, Something's got to change. It's really like God is making it absolutely clear that what I'm doing right now is, I need help from him, though. He's making it absolutely clear that this is not going to work. And when I moved into this place, I already knew from day one that I wasn't going to be able to sustain working at this bakery for a long time. And it's been a month and a half. I don't even consider that to be a long time. Um, but that month and a half has put, oh my God, it's so. I can't even imagine what I would feel like right now if I told them that I had a full available schedule. And like, imagine a clopin. Imagine if they had me clopin, work until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then I've got to ride my bike back home. I might get home at 12:30. I might get home at 12:30 at night, after midnight, and then have to get up at 5 and leave at 6:30, or no, 7. Holy shit, you'd have to get up. If they had me truly clopin, I might not get home until 12:30 at night, and then I would have to I would have to wake up at 4 to be able to get ready to go back so that I could be there by 7. No, I'd have to get up at 3:30. Let me think. Yeah. So if they gave me a clopin shift where where I'm not getting home until 12:30 at night, and then I would have to I would have to get up at 3:30 so that I can be ready to be there by 7 a.m. That I would quit. If they tried to force me to do that, I would have to say no. And if it got heated or which they haven't done that. If they tried to get me to do, if they like threatened me, if you don't do this, we're gonna fire you, I'd be like, well, then fire me, because I'm not. I'm not coming home at 12:30 at night just to get up at 3:30 and do this all over again. That'd be the last day. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I would be like, nope, can't do that. I could clopin when the bicycle ride was 15 minutes. And that was rough. That was messing with me pretty hard. I tried to put a stop to that. And it was successful. I just decided I didn't want to close anymore. I just made my availability daytime only. And then I moved out here, and I changed it from daytime only to these days. And it's just temporary. It's not, nothing's forever. I was at the homeless shelter from May 17th through September 9th. It was not 3.5 months. I was 3.5 months homeless walking around Jamestown, New York. 115 days. I haven't been in my tiny house that long. So when you look at it in those terms, a single email or phone call could change my situation here that fast. So, that's all I keep. That's what keeps me going every day. Knowing that you plant a seed here, you plant a seed there. Sometimes seeds that you planted 6 months ago start to sprout when you least expect it. I might get a phone call from some resume I sent out 3 months ago. You never know. But right now, the only calls I get like 5 to 6 emails a day from Indian tech recruiters. And I refuse. I will not respond to those. I will not respond to those in any way, shape, or form. That is the biggest waste of my time. It would be more productive for me to sit here and watch Red Bull stunt videos on YouTube all day. than to respond to Ranjit Swamihara or, Sanjay Gupta or whatever the hell his name is. Totally useless waste of time responding to an Indian tech recruiter. But on the job front, even more useless than that is applying for some of these low paying jobs. I've applied to a number of places within a very short walking distance from here. And there are a lot of places to work around here, but I'm not getting any like responses. The GameStop, I'll tell you that, I guess that's the name. I applied to that right over in the plaza that's next to Target. It's a 5-minute walk. Maybe 10-minute. It's about a 10-minute walk. Let's say I'd have to leave half an hour before my shift, and I'd be there more than ample amount of time. Manager emailed me back and said that store is completely staffed, but we have another store. It's about 10 miles south when I looked it up. We're looking for people for that store. I replied to him. Both through email and text. Ghosted. Just completely ghosted. And it was a personal email. It wasn't like a machine-generated automatic response kind of an email. It was an email that this guy typed out when he sent it to me. Ghost. Like, just fucking say something. Like, don't ghost people like that. But whatever, that's what they do. Looking for a job is no different than trying to find a date. Women are just as big of douchebags as these companies are, So, getting ghosted is just something you're going to have to learn to deal with. It happens to everybody. So, but then I applied to Lowe's because, like I said, I was in there looking for a wrench and I couldn't find one, but they had signs all over the store. Help wanted, apply here, apply now, come work for us, blah, blah, blah. And outside the store, they had all these big signs. We're hiring, we're hiring. I don't know if it's just like these are permanent signs that are always there. This is the first time I was ever in that store. As far as I know, those signs have been there since the day that store opened, and they're always there, and they never take those signs down. But there were so many of them that it looked like maybe they got some jobs to fill. So I went and applied. But when I went to their website, they make it very hard first of all, they make it hard on their website to look for a specific store to apply for jobs. Like, you can't select a specific store and then say, tell me what jobs are in this store. The best you can do is type in a zip code and set a radius. And so when I typed in the zip code of that store didn't even show up in the results until like the third page. Stores that were 10 miles away would show up before that store. Stores in a completely different zip code were showing up before the store in that zip code showed up. So that's the first thing that sucked about trying to apply for a job there. You couldn't find the specific store if you tried. I found one job at that store, and so I applied to that job at that store because I don't want to get in another situation where I apply to a job, but I gotta go on another 20-mile bicycle ride to lift 50-pound boxes at a different store. And so anyway, I applied. Their application was not horrible. They ask you a bunch of basic questions, and pretty straightforward. They stressed over and over. They stressed at least 6 times that they'll make you take a drug test. There were at least a dozen things. Are you okay with taking a drug test? How about, okay, so are you okay taking a drug test? Yeah. All right, so if we made you take a drug test, would you be able to pass? Okay. They ask you this 12 fucking times. Once is enough. And then, okay, I get done, I fill out all the stuff. Now like every 2 days now, I'm getting a text message from Lowe's that says, "You passed all of our criteria. We want to schedule an in person interview. Unfortunately, we don't have any available time slots to schedule an interview. We will get back to you when we do." And so every 2 days for the last week, I've got 6 copies of this fucking text message, the exact same text message on my phone. "We want to schedule an in-person interview with you. Unfortunately, we can't. We'll get back to you when we can." Fuck you. How about get back to me when you can? Stop sending me this retarded fucking text message 6 times a week saying you want. If you want to schedule an interview with me, schedule the fucking interview with me instead of sending me this dumbass text. Fuck, man. What is wrong with you fucking retards? There you go. Don't hire me because of what I just said on YouTube. But seriously, don't treat people like fucking shit. Like I got to deal with an AI bot sending me a fucking text message every 2 days saying, "We want to schedule an interview with you." Schedule the fucking interview then. Stop telling me you want to do it and fucking do it. Or fuck off. Like, I don't got time. Like, whatever, dude. You really make me want to give it my all to go get this shitty job when you treat people like that. So, cut that one out. If it's this fucking stupid, I mean, I don't feel like I would even get the job anyway because they're going to, "Oh, we're going to do a background check. Oh, you have a criminal record, so we're just going to hire a bunch of nincompoops and idiots that can't read, can't, in some cases, they probably can't speak English. They don't, they're just going to sit around scratching their ass and doing nothing all day when, you could hire somebody who would actually work for the money. But he's got a criminal background, so we won't hire him." Whatever. That's how it's going to go there. It's how any of these corporate ones are going to go. But I'm applying to whatever is within that radius, whatever distance it is. Because you never truly know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got in terms of play on the applications and resumes and whatever I've sent. I did like I said a couple of days ago, I applied to a job that was basically listed as a part-time user experience designer for a fairly small company about 20 miles away from me. I don't know if that part-time means on site or part-time being able to work from home or maybe a combination of both or who knows what. But seemed like a decent opportunity, and it seemed like the kind of company that would hire you right, like without any without. I just got that impression from my research that this isn't the kind of company that's going to make you jump through 1,000 hoops and go through 6 interviews and screen 20 professional references and, go through a background check and a drug test and all this other stuff. It's going to be more, "Okay, you're hired. When can you start?" That kind of it had that kind of vibe. So I still haven't heard back from them, which probably the two reasons why would be, one, they looked me up on Google and they're like, "No fucking way," or two, they looked at my resume and my previous job titles and they said, "He's overqualified. Why would he want to come work here and take such a big step down pay wise?" That'll kill you. Just being more than qualified for the job will kill your chances of getting a job just as fast as not being qualified. It's, I've got my reasons for wanting to work for them or to take that job. The part-time part of it was actually appealing to me. The amount of pay was fine. It was low for what I'd be doing, but it was way more money than what I would get doing any of these labor jobs. And it could, it would help me get to the next level that I need to get to. It would put something on my resume that I could use as leverage to move on in my life. Like, it would do things for me. And so it's a good opportunity. I did a little bit more homework and I found an email address to reach out directly to somebody, but it's not. I'm going to try to do that today. I'm sitting here drinking my coffee. I'm warming up to the world. But when I sit down to start banging out my stuff today, that's what I'm going to start. That's what I'm going to start with. It's one of the first things I'm going to do is reach out directly to that email address and just see if I can get a response out of them. So I won't throw in the towel on something like that. I will try to, maybe there could be a million reasons why I haven't heard back. Maybe they found somebody. The job market's so desperate right now. Maybe they got 300 people applying to it, even though I found it on Craigslist of all places. Maybe they found what they were looking for. And so, you know, sometimes you have to apply to a job 5 minutes after it appears and it's a new job. I might just take time to apply to 10 professional jobs. I don't know. I've got to figure something out. I have a limited amount of time today because I actually have to do work that I'm behind on. There's so many things. There's so many things I have to do. It's like my mind is shot right now. And I don't know how to get from where I am to where I need to be. God has to do something because I can't. It's kind of like when I was stuck at the homeless shelter. God really did more than me to get me out of there. I'm not going to lie. I had to do some things, but God was the one that turned the key and unlocked the door and opened the door and let me walk through it. I could have, up until that day, up until those things happened that fell into place that allowed me to move and get out of there, it was like I was just banging my head against a brick wall trying to find a way to get through the wall. And all I ended up with at the end of the day is a headache. And it wasn't getting me anywhere. But when God decided, okay, I'm going to have you move to Texas now, he opened the door, unlocked it, and let me in. And so that's what I need to happen now. Because there's only so much I can do on my own. And I'm not going to sit and do nothing. And I know I don't really know what to do or what the key is that will allow me the freedom and space to get things done and everything that's on my plate. The opportunity to make a lot of money is sitting right in front of me and I can't access it. The box is right in front of me, but I don't have the key to unlock the box because I'm under the thumb of the United States government. And they're forcing me to do things that are going to keep me from the things that I really could be doing that are better. And I don't know how to get something lined up that will allow me to do both. Keep them off my back, keep them happy that I'm employed and have the right amount of hours every week. And also allow me the space and freedom to do the work that people want to pay me a lot more money to do. It's just not steady and, it's not a W-9 employee getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm burned out. Burned out isn't even. Oh man. Burned out is not even a good description of it, to be honest. It's like, I'm so shot out, it's not even funny right now. Oh man. Somebody will be like, "Oh, you need to go see a therapist." Like a fucking guy with no health insurance making less than 25 grand a year can afford that. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do you do? Like, you're, oh my god. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. Because I mean, you think I'm shot out right now? Give me another month of this schedule and this routine that I'm up to right now. I'm not even gonna be able to speak a complete sentence coherently from beginning to end. I think about like what would have happened if I had to stay in Jamestown. Let's just speculate there. So that I feel, sometimes I think, did I, yesterday there were times throughout the day I'm like, did I make a mistake coming to Houston? Am I going to fall flat on my face and end up ruining my life and being homeless here? And completely lose everything that's left and have to take a Greyhound bus back to Pittsburgh with nothing and live in a, go back to a halfway house, basically go back to prison because you couldn't make, like, I got all these wild, like, bad thoughts going on. But if I was in Jamestown, if I didn't come to Houston, on August 1st, because summer for in New York, summer is 1 month, July. So August 1st, I woke up, I walked outside, I was like, holy crap. I had to go back in and get a long sleeve shirt because it was 40 degrees outside. August August 1st, it was 40 degrees. Um, so let's just say I got a job up there. There was a job, a company. I may have been, if I had really pushed hard for it, I might have been able to get a job at a furniture factory, making like $22 an hour. Probably working a regular shift. It's a 3 shift job, there's a night shift, a morning shift, and I don't know when they start and when they end, but there's 3 8-hour shifts. It's a 24-hour operation, so they have 3 shifts. Probably super loud, like, who knows what I would have been just a big sweatshop. But that's enough money to, if I was working 40 hours a week making $22 an hour, I would have had some money coming in enough to get a car, get some sort of roof over my head, get a foothold to be able to, start figuring things out. And I'm glad I got out of Jamestown, don't get me wrong. And what I'm getting at, what I'm about to get at, is I would have had to walk to this job. I think it was about 4 or 5 miles each way to walk. So you're looking at, if I started this job, whatever the shift is, to get to and from the homeless shelter to the job, I would have had to walk, what was it, 2 hours each way. The homeless shelter had bicycles you can borrow if you're going to a job and back. So maybe I could have cut that down to 15-20 minutes on one of their bicycles. No tools, no, if I get a flat tire, you're walking. Like, there were no, it wasn't like me riding my bicycle where I can handle anything that happens out on the road. Like a flat tire or a mechanical problem. I got the tools and everything in my bag that I need to fix it. Flat tire. You've seen me get 2 flat tires out on these rides. I'm back on the bike 10 minutes later and I'm riding again. I had a tire blow out, an actual tire fail, and I have a spare tire with me, not just inner tubes, but a spare tire to swap. So I'm more than like, but let's just say I had access to a bike. I would be right there. Let's say it started in September. Now I'm in a race. I have to get enough money to get a place and a car before the first snowfall, which is going to be sometime, could be by the end of September. It starts snowing in September up there. It can. It could, but by Halloween, by Halloween it's winter. Like October 31st, it's winter up there. There's snow. It's absolutely gonna snow before then. So, do I want to be traveling to this job and back? And it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And what if I couldn't get a car? Or what if I couldn't get a reliable car? Or like, where was I going to find a place to live when there's only 5 apartments in the whole city that are even available? Like, what was I going to do? I don't know. And so I think about how hard I would have struggled up there if I continued, if there was no option to leave, and that's where I was stuck. And so that's kind of what tells me when you came to Houston, the weather, just the weather alone, the weather has been an upgrade to the point where I can ride a bicycle to get to and from a job. In fact, I don't like it, but I can ride a bicycle to a job that's 20 miles away and continuously do that for a time because of the weather here makes it possible. Could I go to a job in Jamestown and cover a 20-mile commute on a bicycle when it's negative 20 degrees outside and there's 6 feet of snow on the ground? The road's covered in snow and ice. I would have to be on a mountain bike with studded tires with, so many layers of clothing and ski goggles, and literally it would take me a half an hour to an hour just to get dressed to go on that ride. I'd have to get winter cycling boots. I mean, it would cost almost as much as owning a car just to be able to do that on a bicycle up there, and to do it without, risking getting frostbite. So, sometimes I think about these things, and I have an app or have a dashboard when I open up a web browser on my MacBook, there's a dashboard and it shows me all kinds of, it shows me what time it is, the weather, but it also shows me the weather in like 10 different places. One of them is Jamestown, one of them is Pittsburgh, Houston, and there's a few others that I change from time to time just based on, I know somebody who lives there, what's the weather like over there, that kind of thing. And just to get an idea of what's going on. And every time I see the weather from Jamestown and Pittsburgh, I'm thankful that I'm here in Houston right now, because I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing here to survive. I wouldn't be able to do it there. I get all cranky when it's 40 degrees outside here, but I can ride 20 miles to work when it's 40 degrees. It's been as cold as it's gotten down to 20 degrees, 19, 20 degrees, and I can still ride my bike to and from the job. I was stuck out in a rainstorm when it was 30 degrees outside and pouring rain. I was caught without my raincoat. It was a bad experience. It was only a 15-minute bike ride. It taught me never go out without your raincoat ever again. I will never leave for that bike ride, for that bike commute without my raincoat. I'll never do that again. Even though I take it, I mean, I've worn it one time since that incident, and it made the ride more comfortable. I'm definitely glad I had it that day. But I've used it one time. I always take it. But yeah, so I mean, I think about like what could have been the fact that I came here. Really, like, I feel like it saved my life. My friend who offered me that opportunity, I feel like he saved me from, like, I'm like so grateful that I don't know what I was facing. So when I contrast what I'm going through right now, knowing that it's temporary, knowing that I could get a phone call or an email tomorrow that changes everything, and 2 weeks from now I can look back on this and say, well, that sucked, but I'm moving on. Things are moving. So I also keep in mind, I was wandering around Jamestown every day going, what the hell am I going to do? What the hell am I going to do? What the hell am I going to do? I'm going to Texas. Like, it just, and I've got all these projects. I've got like everything fell into place magically and fast. And then I needed to find a place to live, and that fell into place. So it's like I can look back and just see all of the things that have happened in a positive direction, and like some of the things that, like, God helped me find this tiny cabin. He did. The options, this is the best option out of all the options I could find. Like, whatever negative aspects there are, they can be fixed. This was the best option I had, without a doubt. I can go from here. I can improve from here. I can build up from here. And this happened at the last possible minute. It just fell into place. In a divine way. It was funny. It had that same vibe to it. How are you going to move from Jamestown to Houston? I wondered the day it happened. I probably said it in the video. I don't know how this is going to happen. Here's a bunch of money that came out of nowhere. Go start working on some projects for this guy when you get there. And here's all the money you need to move down there. I had the money to pay the fine. The probation officer got kind of, stern with me on the first day I met him. You need to pay this fine right now. Well, I happen to have the money to pay it. A week ago, I had no idea how I was going to find the money to move to Houston. Now I got the money to move down here in a decent way. And when that probation officer was, you need to pay this fine right now. Okay, sir. Paid it. It hurt. It put a big hurt on my funds when I did pay that fine, but now it's done. It's paid. So, like, all these experiences, I need to make a list. I probably should just make a list in my notes, in my text file, of, like, here are all the times you got all nervous or irritated about stuff, and here's all the things that God did to fix all those things. You just had to be patient. You just had to wait it out. Wait for your turn. Wait for your day. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now. It's just that the physical exhaustion of what I'm doing right now, this period, it's been a month and a half. So it's, in terms of the length of time, it's not much time. But I have never been more ground down to a pulp in the span of a month and a half than I have right now. Not even close. Not even close. This is like a whole new level of exhaustion that I don't even know. I don't even know. The people that ride in the Tour de France are riding their bicycles for the pretty much the whole month of July. Every day they're riding about, generally speaking, let's just say on average, they're riding about 100 to 150 miles a day. Sometimes more, sometimes less. They get 2 days off the bike during that whole stretch. The time from the time they start, from the time they start to the time that the day ends, the bicycle part between 5 and 6 hours. So generally speaking, each day they're racing for 5 hours a day on the bike, and then there's the warm up. There's time before the race starts and time after the race ends for the day. I mean, they're basically, their whole life revolves around that race for the whole time they're in it. But the day really begins. They're basically putting in a 12, 13-hour day each day. 5 of those are a heavy bicycle race. I compare it to what I'm doing for a month and a half. I'm riding my bicycle 3 hours a day and breaking my back doing labor for 8 hours a day. So, that's 11 hours of just that. And then whatever I have to do at home and whatever I need to do to keep things moving at home. And there's that one week where I did that for like 6 days in a row. Put in 250 miles on the bike in a week. And it was the most busy, exhausting week of the whole time I've been at that bakery. I haven't been on my game since. That killed me. I was middle of February. It's been a month. That really put. I had energy at this point at the beginning of February. My energy was here at the end of February, and now my energy is lower than that. It's just, wow, man. This is the period right now that I'm just going through some extreme burnout, and I'm just trying to grasp at whatever I can find that will change that situation, and even if it's another temporary Band-Aid fix, something that will put more energy in the tank, more gas in the tank, so that I can get to the next step, because I can't get to the next step the way things are right now. Things are just going to continue to go downhill until I figure out how to get that out of even the commute, a 20-mile commute for a job that doesn't kill me. The job itself isn't that bad in and of itself. It's when it's combined with the 3 hours of cycling plus that job. That's like the death sentence right there. The 3 hours of cycling is not so bad. The job isn't so bad. You put the two together, it's toxic for my health and energy level. It's not sustainable. A 20-mile bicycle ride for a job that's not physically demanding. If it's mentally demanding, the bike ride would actually be soothing for that. A mentally stressful job where you just sit all day would actually vibe really well with a 20-mile bicycle ride, in terms of the bicycle ride would counteract the stress, and because the bicycle ride doesn't require brains, it's just pedal and go, and it's physical activity and it's good workout. Sitting in a chair all day and doing mental stress is bad for your physical health. You know what I mean? So you could counteract, but the riding a bicycle for 3 hours a day is good for your mental health. It rests your brain while it exercises your body. And if I could get a job that rests my body while it exercises my brain, it's kind of a good balance there. And so, I don't know. I'm going to get off the phone. I'm going to get off the video with you guys. And I'm going to... I still haven't posted video 32, but it's uploaded. It's sitting in YouTube right now. All I have to do is add a thumbnail graphic and hit go live. Make it go live. That'll take about 10 minutes or less. So I'll probably add a couple of more segments to this video that you're watching right now. I'm hoping I have a hot shower in the next couple of weeks. That's another aspect that's really, really, really bringing me down. Not having the hot water fixed for a month and a half is... I'm looking at this tankless water heater. He wants to go through this whole elaborate thing of putting in a propane tank and a propane water heater and all this stuff, and he has to have an electrician and a plumber and a propane guy all working together to do I'm like, just replace the tankless heater that's on the wall. Just get a new one, put it on there, hook it up, and be done with it. Like, it would be a 2-hour fix. It, like, the thing broke. It doesn't work. If you just replace the unit, it would probably fix the problem. Get a better unit. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot. Literally, like, it would be that quick. But it's just, I don't know, man. And that's another thing stressing me out. Like, I can't live like this much longer. Not being able to take regular showers, things like that. And, like, that's bothering me. I gotta take a cold shower, or I gotta gather all my stuff and go over to this house and use a bathroom in the house to do it, that is shared with like 6 other people or whatever, you know, and then bring all my stuff back. And okay, fine, I could do that. I might have to start doing it, which is gonna... Take a deep breath. But when the lease is up at this place, if I'm still living like this, with the same routine, the same weekly routine, struggling, literally just struggling to survive every month, just literally just struggling to survive one week to the next, month to month, and the next renewal, the lease comes back for renewal, and I don't have a car. There's like no way to even get a car because I can't afford it. Like, I don't know, man. I haven't been this, honestly, I feel worse, like I said earlier in the video, and then I'm just going to call it, I'm going to cut this segment. I have not felt this low since the day I got out of prison. I feel worse right now than I felt when I was homeless. And but I also know that things can change very fast, very fast. And so I'm just going to keep planting seeds, and planting more seeds until something sprouts, until something comes along that enables me to get out of this routine and fix that situation. It's kind of like when you have a vehicle that needs... You're driving a car, you don't have to take it to the shop, but you need new tires and shocks. And the longer you put that off, you're doing serious damage to your car. If you need new shocks and tires, the vibration and just the everything is getting shaken too much. So you're actually going to cause other parts of your car to start loosening up and start falling. Your car is going to start falling apart more than it would if you just go replace the shocks and the tires. You have one small problem that maybe you can't afford to take it to the shop, or you can't afford to be without a car because you depend on it for your job, and you literally can't get to your job without the car, so you can't take the car to get fixed because you need a way to get to your job. I've been in that situation. Lots of us are in that situation. So you end up just living with the problem, praying to God every day that your car will still get you where you got to go, even though you've got to fix this thing, but you can't fix it. That's kind of how I feel right now, that I'm like, the more I keep doing this, the more I'm falling apart, and the more serious problems are going to pop up as a result of what I'm doing right now. But it, the means to switch gears and the means to drop off the car at the repair shop aren't there. So anyway, I'm gonna let you all go, and I'll probably record another couple of segments between now and whenever I put another video up online, but I don't really know what's going to be in it because I have no plan, I have no notes, I have no script. I'm documenting right now that even though I got a roof over my head and things are moving along, I'm more burnt out and like completely down than I've been since the day I got out of prison. And that's how I feel right now. Later.
All right, what's going on? Segment number 2 for this video. I'm already getting blasted for the length of the last video being about 5 hours. I recorded some segments over 3 days. I strung them all together. I put it up as one video. People are bitching about it in the comments. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because no matter what you do, literally no matter what you do, someone's going to be pissed about it and someone's going to have something to say. And that brings up the topic of the armchair quarterback on social media and YouTube or wherever people are posting videos and whatever they post. I constantly get comments. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You need to do this. You can't do that. Blah, 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 fucking blah. And it's nonstop. And I don't give a fuck. Like, if I ever come across that with this, if I ever give off the impression that I care, please let me know, because that's something I'll need to correct, because I don't care. I'm talking about it because it's an interesting topic and it cracks me up. I watched every time. So here's one thing I do. You scroll in the feed, you look at something on Facebook, you look at something on YouTube, whatever. You got like a handyman doing a repair job. You've got a mechanic overhauling an engine. You've got a landscaping guy doing a landscape job. Maybe he does a time-lapse video of a landscape job. And a house with overgrown weeds that looks like it, that's like a neighborhood eyesore, and he cleans it up and makes it look beautiful. Whatever the case may be. The funniest thing to do is to go to the comments next to the video. Every single time, without fail, if the video has a load of comments, if it has hundreds of comments, you're going to see at least 100 people leaving a comment about how the guy in the video did everything wrong. The guy in the video is a hack. He's an idiot. Oh, he should have done it this way. Why did he use that tool instead of this tool? And everything he did was wrong. I would have done it so much better. Blah, fucking blah, blah, blah. And all of these people leaving these comments, none of them do that shit. None of them do those jobs. Nobody in the comments is going out and doing a landscaping job today, but they're in their, they're sitting on their recliner, scrolling their feed, and they're the experts on landscaping jobs all of a sudden. Somebody rebuilds an engine and you got 30 fucking douchebags in the comments telling him about every fucking thing he did wrong rebuilding the engine, and it's like, when the fuck's the last time you rebuilt an engine, you fucking lazy jackass? Never. You never rebuilt an engine, but you're the fucking expert all of a sudden. And it's literally, it's the same thing. How many times do you watch a fucking football game in a room full of people and you got people sitting there screaming and yelling at the TV? I mean, there's videos now on Facebook and YouTube of people destroying their TVs, taking a shoe off and throwing a shoe at the TV and shattering the screen because they're mad that Ben Rapistberger didn't throw the touchdown pass or whatever the fuck. And they're sitting there screaming at the TV, why did you run that stupid play? You should have run this other play. You stupid fucking why are you running a running play on third down? You need to pass. The defense knows you've got 1 yard to go and it's third down. The defense knows you're gonna run the ball. Why do you run the ball when they know it? I would have done it differently. If you would have hired me, if you'd make me the head coach, I would win the Super Bowl. Yeah, are they going to have to bring your fucking lazy boy to the 50-yard line and put it down on the field before you put your fucking headset on and become the head coach of the Steelers after they fire Mike Tomlin and hire you for the job because you're a fucking expert because you watch, Monday Night Football every week? From your lazy boy? You're the fucking expert now. You're the one. You didn't have to go to, Texas A&M and learn how to play football with the big boys and get drafted into the NFL and have an NFL career. And then when you get old and beat up, you either become the commentator or you become a coach somewhere. You didn't have to go through the whole process of what it takes to get to that level in sports. You just sat and watched it on TV, but now you're a fucking expert. You're the one screaming and yelling at your TV, and believe me, if there was a comment section during the Super Bowl, could you imagine if there was like a stream where you could just watch people's idiotic comments up the TV screen? You would just see the most ridiculous shit. And so the moral of the story here is, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna put yourself out there, if you're gonna do anything that involves interacting with the public, you got to be aware that you're gonna be dealing with idiots all fucking day. You want to open a business on a street corner where people from the public are coming in. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. Someone's gonna get mad. Someone's gonna not be happy with what you did. Someone's not gonna be happy just for the fact that you're there. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. You just have to focus on doing your thing and just block it out. Like, if you're going to be on YouTube, guess what? The bigger you get, trolls are going to show up and take a dump all over your comment section. It's just the way it is. Now, you can filter those comments. You can approve and disapprove who's allowed to say what and what. You can censor all of that. You can curate your comments. I don't. In fact, I just went in and flipped a switch somewhere that says, all the comments that YouTube would hold back and wait for me to review because they were just like so incredibly douchey and full of swear words and everything that YouTube will be like, hey, you want to take a look at this before we post it? I just said, post them. Let them fly. I don't care. Hopefully that I've been checking over the last month or so and I haven't seen any held for review anymore. So if whatever you want to post, it's going to show up in there. I don't care anymore. I never cared in the first place. I just didn't know there was a setting I could flip to have those automatically approved. I believe in freedom of speech. So let your speech go. I don't care. But be aware, like, you can be the armchair quarterback all day. Every time I look at one of these negative comments, I click on the username and there's a channel with no videos, or there's a channel with 3 dumbass videos that got like 4 views each and he's got 2 followers, like you're the expert. Of course you're the fucking expert. The people who do this all the time, that would be like me going onto a channel that has 10 million followers and making a comment about the guy doesn't know what he's doing. But I got 1,200 followers and he's got 12 million. He obviously, that'd be like me telling Mr. Beast how to get more followers. You know what I mean? Like, you think Mr. Beast is going to give a fuck about what I have to say? No. And I'm not saying that I even like that guy. I don't really like his videos all that much, but he's not going to take advice from the guy with 1,200 followers if I decide to be the armchair quarterback and show up to his channel and tell him everything he's doing wrong. Because obviously he did something right to get, 50 million subscribers or whatever the hell he's got going on. So, and he also didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. He looked at the results of what he was doing, and, he basically plays the algorithm game. He looks at the data. He does something, he looks at the data, and he adjusts whatever he's doing based on what the data is telling him is going on. And, a lot of people are, the professional level YouTubers are, they're digging deep into that, and, they're catering to what people say they want in the masses, you know what I mean? But he's getting immediate, he's looking at the data. He don't give a shit what the comments say. He knows that if you've got 50 million people subscribed to your channel and your videos are getting 50 million views, guess what? There's going to be 10 million people that hate your guts and hate every video that you do. And there's going to probably be 5 million people sitting in their armchair typing in comments, putting you on blast. And he's still making millions of dollars and living like a pimp. He don't care. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't. I guarantee you he doesn't give a shit what any of you people think. He might crash and burn. His channel could just die someday and be all of a sudden nobody cares of him, nobody wants to watch his stuff anymore. He's still not, he might care that his income's drying up, but he's already so rich, he's never going to be poor again. He's never going to be broke for the rest of his life. He's set. And so he would have never got where he got if he cared about what other people think. That's the point I'm making right now. So on the flip side, so I got some stuff. You can see I got a little more energy in me. Got the coffee going. I started doing some stuff. I started getting a few things done. It picks up. It's like a train. It's like getting the train started. Yesterday I was done. Yesterday I was finished, kaput, had no energy at all. Couldn't even stand up on my feet. It was like after 5 o'clock when I started doing the cleaning stuff that I had to do to recover from, the mess that got made last weekend in here. And, but I got enough done last night that I was comfortable today. I didn't have to get up and do any more of that. I'm a little behind because there's things I wanted to do yesterday that I'm doing now. On the job front, I was talking about that this morning. Some interesting things, douchey, stupid things. I got another one of them text messages from, Lowe's, saying, "We want to schedule an in-person interview with you, but unfortunately we don't have any time slots. We will contact you when we do." That's like the 4th fucking time I've got the same text message from them. I kind of want to text them back and say, "Hey, douchebag, why don't you fucking contact me when you have available time, instead of sending me this retarded ass text message over and over again." I think I'm just going to hold back on doing that because, for obvious reasons, but I've already written that off. That's not going to happen. That job's not possible. So another thing I did today, the GameStop, I told you about that this morning. It's kind of funny how I told you that this morning. And then, so I decided, because I sent the guy a follow-up text message and I never heard back. And it's been a couple of weeks. So I decided I'll send one more email follow-up to the email address that the guy sent me. So I sent the email out. Right before I sent the email, I received an email. The timing was really weird. I literally hit the send button on the email, but I looked and there was an email sitting there from GameStop. And it said they're setting up interviews. and it was this email was a machine generated, AI generated email. It didn't come from a real human being like the one so I sent the follow-up to the real human being. Said, I'm interested, I'd like to set up an interview, whatever, if you're still looking for people. Well, now I get this automated email that came before I hit the send button. The timing was impeccable. It literally showed up like 1 minute before I hit the send button on the email I was sending out. And but the email I sent out went directly to the manager who had contacted me. Still haven't heard back. So there was a phone number in this automated AI generated email saying they wanted to set up an interview with me, and it had a phone number. And so I texted the phone number. It said, send a text message here to schedule an interview. The thing went back and forth with me. It's an AI bot. It's not a human. I knew it wasn't going to be a human. And then it said, we're scheduling interviews for Tuesday from between this time and this time next week. Said, send us your first and last name and we'll schedule a time for you to come in. So I sent my first and last name as it said. Poof, no more. Didn't get a response. Didn't get a time. They didn't set up a time for the interview. They didn't, nothing. Just poof, gone. All these fucking companies, like, is it really that hard for a human being to get a few job applications, call up a candidate and say, hey, can you come in for an interview? They got to go through this whole AI robot retarded ass bullshit process that doesn't fucking work to get 5 people to come into a fucking retail store for a shitty job interview for a minimum wage job. We got to go through this whole fucking rigmarole. So no, there was no, like, I didn't get nothing back. It, like, this AI bot went back and forth, back and forth. It said, give me your first and last name. We'll send you a time. We'll give you a time to come in. Sent the first and last name. Poof, no response at all from the bot. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, all right, whatever. This world that we're living in is so fucking, it's completely fucking retarded now. It's retarded because human beings are being pushed out of the equation by this AI bullshit. And this AI shit is fucking retarded. It's fucking dumb. I mean, if you thought calling customer service in India is bad when you have a problem with your account or whatever the fuck you're trying to fix and you can't understand their broken English and you can't get anything solved because this dingbat on the other side of the world is reading a script on a computer screen in front of them and they're not allowed to actually help you. They're just going to apologize and say we're here to help you and then not do anything to help you. I mean, I'm sure that's the experience that you all have now when you call Bangladesh for customer service. And well, now it's going to be an AI bot. As soon as they figure out how to get these robots to talk like a person, and they're going to get to the point where they can talk like a human being and you'll be like, is this a real person or is this a fucking bot? Like, you might not be able to tell. That's what they're trying to do because they want to get rid of all these call centers in India. They don't want to pay these fucking people. They don't want to pay, 50 cents a week to these people in India when they can just have a bot do the job instead. So that's what's going on. That's what's going to start happening. Anytime you need anything from any company, you're going to be talking to a literal robot, and you're not going to be able to talk to a person. And the robot's going to pretend to be a person and try to fool you into thinking it's a person, but it'll be a fucking robot. They're doing it at fast food joints. That's where they're really testing this stuff out. I mean, I don't go through I don't have a car, so I can't go through a drive-through. But before I went to prison, some of these drive-thrus were already using AI bots to take your order. And that's where they're testing this shit in different places, and it's going to get to the point where you can't talk to a person anymore. And so, it's not just the job interview process. It's going to be every aspect of your life is becoming completely stupid and completely fucking retarded. And so I was going somewhere with that, and I went off the rails because the stuff's just getting on my nerves. What did it have to do with? I can't even remember now. I had a specific example. Oh, payment processing. So I can't have a PayPal account now. Um, I ditched PayPal. If you watched a lot of these, if you've been watching these videos regularly, you all know that I had to ditch my PayPal account because I was receiving payments for different things through PayPal, but they locked me out of my account about 6 times in a row. Why? Because my phone number doesn't match what's on the billing statement. So when you sign up for a PayPal account now, they check your phone number to make sure that the bill, your phone bill, is in your name, is in the same name that you signed up with for PayPal. And so so PayPal basically, if you're on a family plan, like if you're in a family, you're the wife, your husband has a T-Mobile account and you have 5 phones, you, your husband, and the 3 kids, and there's 5 phones on the account, it's in your husband's name. If you sign up for a PayPal account, you're going to get locked out. It may not be immediately, but within, you're gonna do a handful of transactions, all of a sudden you're not going to be able to log in. You're going to have to call customer service, and they're going to tell you this is why, because your phone, we checked your phone bill, and the name on the phone bill doesn't match your name, so you can't have an account with us. They're going to lock you out of the account. You're going to have to go to the Better Business Bureau. You're going to have to fight them to get your money back. If there's money in that account, even if you have a bank account linked to it. The funny thing is the bank account that you link to it could be in your name. There's a million different ways to prove that you are who you say you are. But they will not, and this has been going on for years, and you can look this up. I'm far from the only person who's had this problem. So you can even have a phone bill in your name with your own phone number. And if PayPal sees that same phone number used to be used by somebody else with a PayPal account, they'll do the same thing. They'll lock you out of your PayPal account and tell you that phone number can't be used anymore because it was used by somebody else. There's only so many phone numbers to go around, and there's millions and millions and millions of people using PayPal. And so if your phone number that the phone company gives you when you sign up for a cell phone was associated with a PayPal account in the past, PayPal will also block you from having a PayPal account because they'll tell you that phone number is no good anymore. And now what do? You either have to accept the fact that you're no longer allowed to have a PayPal account, or you have to change your phone number, play that lottery game, change your phone number across everybody who has your phone number and go through the process of getting a new phone number, and then cross your fingers and hope that phone number works with PayPal. So they're making it impossible to verify who you are unless your phone number, they check the bill on your phone and they check to see if that phone number was ever used with another account. I mean, this is antiquated shit. Like, they should understand that phone numbers get recycled by these companies because there's only so many fucking numbers. Like, they've run out of phone numbers. Anytime you get a phone number now, it's a phone number that was used by somebody else in the past, and you start getting all the bill collectors, and you start getting all the telemarketing calls and all the spam that the person who used to have that phone number used to get. And now those are your spam calls and your phone calls. And you're getting, like, is Jason there? Jason owes us money. I'm not fucking Jason. Take me off your list. Okay, Jason. Sure. And so you got to block all these fucking numbers when you get a new phone number. Well, PayPal they're making it so you can't get a PayPal account unless your phone number meets a bunch of strict criteria. So I can't have a PayPal account anymore. Now I have all these stock photo sites where I put my photography up for sale, and they will only pay you 2 different ways. You can either use PayPal to get paid, or you use this other one called Skrill, Skrill. So I set up a Skrill account. I can't verify my Skrill account. I can't prove that I am who I say I am because they keep asking me for documents to prove my identity. They said, send us a utility bill. I sent them my internet bill. They rejected it because it's from T-Mobile. They said it has to be a real internet company. They wanted my bank statement. I'm like, well, I'll send you my bank statement, but you're not going to see the account number. You're not going to see, I'm going to blank out certain information on there. So I pulled up my bank, my last bank statement that has my new address on it. I blacked out the account numbers and the private information that I don't want them to see. Rejected. Rejected again. And so now this company won't let me have an account with them because I can't verify who I am, because the documents that I have aren't acceptable. I don't have an electric bill. I don't have a gas bill. I don't have any utility bills because they're all included with my rent here. So I can't prove who I am because I'm being punished by these companies. And this isn't the first. I've had at least 5 problems since I moved here because I don't have utilities in my name other than this internet account. And so people are trying to make me prove who I am and where I live. And I'm like, well, this is what I have. And they're like, well, we won't accept that. Won't accept a paycheck stub. Won't accept a bank statement. Won't accept, the 5 other things that I have with my new address on it because I don't have an electric bill in my name. So I get to be punished by these financial ripoffs because I don't have an electric bill in my name. So right now, I'm basically fucked because I have accounts. There's not a lot of money in them. One is about to reach the threshold where I can request to get paid. And that's like $25. So, and the money can sit there for a long time and accumulate for years before. So maybe I can get a PayPal account someday and move the money into PayPal someday. But I basically have to count this out. I can't sell stock photography now. I can't upload images to these platforms and actually build a portfolio that actually generates monthly income because I don't have a way to receive the monthly income. If I can get my Skrill account verified, you can't use it to pay anybody. Nobody, they say, oh, you can use it at any online merchant that accepts Skrill for payments. Nobody accepts it. It's not like PayPal where you can pay different places with a PayPal account. Skrill, nobody fucking uses it. If you want to transfer your Skrill money to your bank account, they charge you a ridiculously high fee for that. And when you're getting small transactions, the fees are going to just make it completely worthless. So basically, I've got a whole stream of income tied up because I'm not a real human being anymore, and I'm not allowed to have a PayPal account. And this Skrill account, they won't verify me because I don't have an electric bill in my name. And I'm not going to send them a bank statement with my fucking account number and routing number visible, because then they can just take all my fucking money if they wanted to. Or somebody could steal my... All you need is a routing number and account number, and you can steal someone's fucking money right out of their bank account. No, fuck this shit. The way things are today. You don't do that. So... it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And it's all of this shit is robot generated. There's no human beings involved in these processes. When you upload a document to this company, they scan it with a fucking bot looking, and then it might get flagged and glanced at by a human being, but the human being's being paid minimum wage to just sit there and go, nope, nope, nope. They don't even look at it. They just hit a button all fucking day saying no. It's kind of like when YouTube gives me a flag for offensive comment or whatever the fuck, and they say you can't monetize this video, and then there's a button that says you can appeal, and you hit the button to appeal, and 3 minutes later you get an email back saying your appeal was rejected. No shit, Sherlock. A person didn't even look at that. You just hit the button that says appeal, and the robot goes, no. We're not gonna let, fuck you. So I'm not kidding when I say there's gonna be a day, maybe 10 years from now, you're gonna get arrested and you're gonna go to court, and it's gonna be an AI judge. It's gonna be artificial intelligence judge deciding whether you go to prison or not. The prosecutor's gonna be an AI prosecutor. The jury's going to be an AI jury. You're literally going to get arrested by a fucking robot, probably, like RoboCop or Chappie or something like that. And then you're going to be dragged into a fucking courthouse where a robot on a fucking screen or whatever tells you your fate, and there's going to be no more human beings involved. Like that's where the shit is going. Like AI is a tool, you can use it, but what they're building this into, what they're turning this into, is a way to enslave humanity. I mean, it is the Terminator. It's just going to be more subtle and under the radar. It's not going to start out with the killer robots coming to kill everybody. It's going to take over every part of society on the backside. It's going to do it in a way that people are welcoming it in. And then once they're in and it's tied to all the banking systems and all the companies are completely run with AI and there's no more humans doing any actual work anymore, then it's going to turn around and make the robots that come out and kill all of you. It's not going to be overnight, but it's going to happen. I mean, that's probably what this mark of the beast and all the shit in the Bible is actually like. The Antichrist might actually be a fucking robot. We don't know. It says it's going to be a man. I mean, the Bible does say certain things are going to happen, but all this AI shit that they're building is definitely going to bring about our end. It is. So yeah, that's on my nerves today. The whole coming apocalypse is fucking annoying, and I'm just trying to get my life together so I can live the best life I can. And now I got to deal with all this dumbass bullshit. A bunch of fucking robots telling me what I can and can't do anymore. And you can't argue with a fucking robot because they've made up their mind and there's nothing you can fucking do. No human being's going to turn around and change the setting to make you be able to have an account. It's going to get to the point you can't have a bank account anymore. They'll demonetize your bank account, send you a payment in the mail or whatever, and you won't be able to open up another bank account because you said the wrong thing on the internet, or who knows what fucking reason they'll come up with. Like, you'll get stuck to where you can't have a driver's license. You can't have... Look at the shit I went through just to get a driver's license in Texas. I already had a driver's license in New York, and I had to go through 2 months of fucking hell just to get my license switched to Texas. I already had... if you already have a driver's license in one state, why is it so fucking hard to get a license in the next state? So anyway, that's where we're at. AI is going to take everything over. It's going to completely destroy everything, and you're not going to be able to do a fucking thing about it because you're going to be arguing with a fucking robot all day, and you're not going to be able to get anywhere. We're already seeing the results of this. And yeah, AI, they released all those JFK documents yesterday, and you can go on Twitter and you can ask Grok what's in them. There's 80,000 pages of shit to go through. If you're interested in that and you want to see what the government's going to let you know about it, they're still not going to tell you who killed him. But there's 80,000 pages now of, here's a bunch more fucking lies and bullshit. But you can ask AI now to sift through that and find things and say, point out what's interesting and get the digest, the Cliff's Notes, without having to read it yourself. There's things you can do. You can have AI. Since when you apply for a job, you're applying to a robot, may as well have a robot write my fucking cover letter. Why should I waste my fucking time writing a cover letter for a stupid ass job that a human being's not even going to read my fucking cover letter for? Let a robot write the cover letter so the robot can talk to the other robot and see if they can come to an agreement about whether the robot can invite me in for a job interview. And am I going to come do a job interview with a chat bot? I might. I've had job interviews with fucking bots. I've had at least 4 or 5 fucking job interviews with a goddamn robot. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? This is so fucking retarded. It's so fucking stupid. Like, why the fuck do I even want to participate in this retarded fucking shit show anymore? I don't even know. Like, but I've applied to over 600 jobs, and I don't know exactly, but I know I've had at least 5 interviews with a bot, an actual robot, where I didn't talk to a fucking person, but it was a job interview. I almost went through one with Best Buy, but I said, no, I don't got time for this shit. and I just let them send me the rejection email because I didn't do it within 3 days. I had other shit I had to do. I didn't have time to go on a robot job interview. A human being's not even going to look at the fucking video when you do the video interview. It's just going to be looked at by a fucking robot, and they're going to match it up with their keywords and their, facial expressions on your face. And it's literally no human being's ever going to fucking look at that video. It's going to be a robot that decides whether you come in to meet a human being or not. And even then, they're not going, you may just get a job offer without a human-based job interview. It's so fucking insulting. It's fucking bullshit. But that's where we're at right now. We're going to let robots take over the whole fucking world, and they're going to fuck it all up. And there's not going to be a goddamn thing you can do about it because it's all going to be set in stone. People are just going to be like, well, no, the robot did what the robot did it. The robot fucked it. The robot did it. I don't know what to do. Like, you're going to have just as much of an easy time fixing what the robot fucked up than you would have when your cell phone doesn't work. Like, nobody knows how to fucking... There's like 3 people in the world that know how to take a cell phone apart and know what the fuck's going on inside there and be able to fix it if it breaks. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like that. This is going to be a world full of fucking retarded dumbass people that don't know a fucking thing anymore, and robots doing all the work, and you're just living at the mercy of whatever the fucking robot decides. However, look, go on Netflix and watch a show called Black Mirror. Watch Black Mirror and watch a movie called Idiocracy by Mike Judge. And those 2 things combined are going to show you exactly what our future is. That's it. Like, those are the only 2 things that you need to watch to know what our future is going to be like. Black Mirror, Idiocracy. The 2 best documentaries about the future of humanity that have ever been produced and ever will be produced are right there. That's exactly what your future is going to be. Get ready for it, because that's what's coming. So anyway, I'm going to move to one more little topic, and then I'm going to get back to my thing. It's just I kind of piled up all the things that are on my nerves today. So the bakery I work at has a location right next to Walmart. I applied there, but I didn't hear anything back. I thought maybe I could go over there in person. I don't know, like, maybe they're not, like, the place I work right now, they're not busy. Maybe they're going through a slump. Maybe I need to go there in person and check it out. But I'm kind of holding back on it because the walk to Walmart, I can go to Walmart or I can go to Target for groceries, and they're roughly the same distance. Walmart is like 1.1 miles or 1.3 miles, and Target is 0.7 miles. But the difference in traffic and the way to get there is way different. It's a much easier walk and safer to go to Walmart than it is to go, or Target. It's a safer, easier walk to Target. There's no sidewalks anywhere. The only place I've ever seen a sidewalk in Houston is where rich assholes live who drive to their next door neighbor's house and never walk on a sidewalk. But those are the only places I see sidewalks. But you can walk from where I live to Target and back, and it's relatively safe. I mean, you've seen some of the videos where I'm walking with the camera in front of me, so you see how crazy it is. The walk to Walmart is fucking horrid. There's like there's like nothing to walk on. There's literally like I had to climb over like girders and things. Like, I had to climb over shit to get from here to there. And so I was thinking about maybe going to that bakery and going to Walmart to go grocery shopping or something, just like, like, let's see what I can do to get unstuck here. And so I'm like, is there another way to walk over there? Is there an alternate way I can go to Walmart so I don't have to walk down that crazy fucking road that has 0 sidewalks that I have to climb over like fences and steel girders and like jump over a creek and some other shit to get from here to there. Is there another way I can go? And it came up with this alternate route. And I'm like, it adds 1/10 of a mile longer to walk this other way. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Well, I look on Google Street View. It's a gated community. It's the other way that I could go to Walmart is a street that winds through a gated community, a literal like Fort Knox, high security gated community. At both ends of the road, there's not only a gate that keeps cars from being able to drive through, but it's like a gate. I wouldn't even be surprised if it has an electric fucking fence that you can't touch and you'll get shocked and killed. The sidewalks have gates, so the sidewalks are blocked. The whole thing is completely blocked. You cannot even like go through, you can't even walk down the sidewalk if you don't have an access card. And at both ends, there's a guard house. There's a literal fucking guard house at both ends of this fucking road. So you can't do it. You can't walk that way to go to Walmart. It would be a peaceful, tranquil walk from here to there. But it's literally a gated community. You'd have an easier time going to Fort Knox to see if there's gold in the vault than you would trying to walk through this fucking community to use the sidewalk to get from point A to B. And it just, I'm really starting to fucking hate living in Houston. I'm really starting to hate this fucking place. Between the assholes on the roads and the fucked up roads that go nowhere, and there's like, it doesn't matter where you're trying to get from to where, there's literally one fucking road you can take because there's it's a grid. It looks like a grid, but then you start to look at it and nothing connects to anything else. And every fucking neighborhood has one street going in and one street coming out. And so even if you live in the neighborhood, you can only leave the neighborhood with this one fucking street. And so there's like literally like to go to something that's 20 miles away from where you live, there's one fucking road that you can take to get from point A to B. In the fourth biggest city in America, you can literally only get from point A to B with one fucking road. In New York City, you can get from point A to B 150 different fucking ways, especially if you're walking or riding a bicycle. It's a grid. You can go up here, make a right, go up there, go over here, go up there. You can go down all the way, go this way. You can go up all the way and go over. There's like, to go from point A to B in New York City, you could go 500 different ways to get from point A to B. And that's just the street level. You could also take a cab, you could take a train, you could take a bus, you could do this, you could do that. There's options. In Houston, you have to get in a car and go one fucking road to go someplace 30 miles away. And if that road's fucked up, well, tough shit, you can't go. What the fuck, Houston? What the fuck? Who the fuck is the complete fucking retard who designed this retarded ass city? I would love to have a conversation with you one-on-one, face-to-face, because you're a fucking retard. You're a complete fucking idiot. Whoever designed this fucking city is out of their fucking mind. You could be in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina, the Blue Ridge Mountains, the most rugged terrain on the eastern side of the United States, with rivers and streams and big giant 6,000-foot mountains with cliffs and everything else. And you'll have more options to get to and from your cabin in the woods, your cabin up in the mountains, going down into like the city of Asheville and back. You'll have more options to get back and forth to your mountain cabin in the middle of the Appalachian wilderness than you'll have to get from point A to B anywhere you are in Houston. And this is a fucking city. This is the fourth biggest city in America, and you can't get around it. It's fucking insane. Mind is completely blown when I see how completely fucking retarded this place is. Pittsburgh is a crazy city. People get lost. People can't figure out how to get around in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh kicks the living crap out of this place in terms of being able to get. And Pittsburgh has 3 major rivers, tons of creeks and streams and elevation changes that change from, there's a 500 to 600 foot difference between the tops and bottoms of the hills in Pittsburgh, and the hills are everywhere. And they're so close together that some neighborhoods are connected where you're on a neighborhood on this hilltop and there's a neighborhood on this hilltop, and there's a bridge that spans from one hilltop to the other, so you can get from this neighborhood to this neighborhood in the air. There's no water underneath. They'll just build a bridge from one hilltop to another hilltop. Allegheny County has the most bridges in a single county, I think, in the entire United States. There's more bridges in Pittsburgh than anywhere in the country because of the terrain. And even though it's a mess, it looks like somebody dumped out a bowl of spaghetti on the ground and said, there's your map. Figure it out. Pittsburgh is 1,000 times easier to navigate than Houston. Houston is by far the biggest idiotic shit I mean, it's just, my mind is blown. I've been here, I don't know, man. Like, this is crazy. I'm literally looking at a map in front of me right now. And every time I need to get from point A to B, I'm like, how do I get, are you kidding me? And then I look, I'm like, well, can't you? No, you can't. Well, why? There's like 1,000 different streets in this compact area. Oh, but none of them connect. You go this way and it stops. And you go to this way and it stops. And and you can't get from there to there. There's literally one road that goes from here to there. And that's it. Wow. Like, who came up with this? What is the population of Houston? 2.3 million people live in Houston, and it's the biggest, it's the most retarded shit show in terms of the streets that you will ever see in your entire life. Like, I am like blown away by this. I'm trying not to have an impression based on the fact that I live in, I'm not going to say I live in squalor. My place is pretty clean. I'm getting stuff together. And I like the weather. But here's the thing. If 3 years go by of me living in Houston and the only positive thing I can say is, well, I like the weather, but everything else fucking sucks, then I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to stay in a place like that. Pittsburgh used to get under my skin. When I first moved to Pittsburgh, I hated it there, and it took time. It actually took time for it to grow on me, and then I love it. I love the city of Pittsburgh. It's I will always consider that to be my home. It's the most, I don't feel at home anywhere else I've been but Pittsburgh. I can't go to where I grew up and feel like I'm at home. I feel like an outcast. I feel like an outsider. I don't feel like I belong, even in the neighborhoods and the city in the area where I grew up. But I can go to Pittsburgh and feel like I'm at home tomorrow and just fit. I'm like there. I feel like it's my home. I'm not saying that Houston can't become that someday, because I really don't know that much about the place. I've been here for a very limited time. I don't have real transportation. I don't have any money to go out and see what's going on. There's a million different things at play right now. When I first moved to Pittsburgh, I was a broke-ass art institute student. I couldn't afford to do anything. I lived in a dump. There were all these factors. I feel like it's a similar situation, and I couldn't enjoy living in Pittsburgh. And it took a long time before I started to enjoy it and started to really find out like how much I moved away for a short period of time. I came back and I loved it. I mean, it took time, but I eventually, by the time all this shit happened with the FBI, I felt like I was going to live there for the rest of my life. And the only thing that I was looking for was like a way to have a second home somewhere down south so that I could get out of the winter. But I wanted to buy the house that I lived in and have something down south somewhere. It could be a total dump. It could be a trailer in a trailer park for all I cared. I just needed a roof over my head so I could go down south and spend a few months a year down there. That was what I was trying to do. Tennessee or Florida. It was Florida, you know, there are pros and cons to both. Those were the two places that I was most interested in down there. Tennessee, you're still going to have winter. Florida, you're going to have Florida. You're going to have Florida problems. So, I don't know. I'm trying not to let these things about Houston get under my skin too much, because I know that I didn't like Pittsburgh for a long time. And then all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, I love this place. I love living here. Especially when I moved out of the city and I could like go and live in the country but still have my life based in Pittsburgh. That was the best. That was my favorite situation of all. I lived far enough away. I lived way past the suburbs. I lived out in the middle of nowhere, but I had very easy, quick access, and I had 3 or 4 different ways I could take to get into downtown Pittsburgh. I could go there was a major highway right there, 3 miles away from my house. I could pop on that and go, or I could take a back way that was longer, but it was more peaceful. You know, I took 3 or 4 different ways depending on how I felt on a certain day. Here in Houston, if I tried to do that, if I wanted to live out in the country and commute into the city for different things, I'm stuck with one way in and out of the 4th biggest city in America. There's going to be one road to get in and out. Like, that blows my mind. That blows my mind that the city is so big and yet you can't get around it. It's mind blown. I know why everybody's an asshole on the road here. It's because the roads are terrible and everybody's frustrated and pissed off about it. But that's a big deal. That's a big, that's not something that's going to be fixed in your lifetime. It's not something that's going to be fixed in my lifetime. It's not even going to improve in my lifetime. It's probably going to get worse. That's a big deal. That's a big deal if you can't get around. And I would be fine with not being able to get around if I was out in the mountains living in a cabin in the woods and had no neighbors and 10 acres of land to myself. The lack of mobility oh no, the road washed away. I'm in North Carolina, the road's gone. Oh, it's going to be 10 years before. Okay, I guess I'll have to go on a hike every time I need food or whatever, but oh darn. But now I live in this big bustling metropolis of 2.3 million people, and I can't go someplace 10 miles away and there's only one fucking road to take, and it's an absolute nightmare. Like, it's a 6-lane wide road and I'm supposed to ride my bicycle on it and it has no shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, wow, Houston. Wow. Crazy. So, I'm burned through another hour. I'm not going to make this video 5 hours long, but these are the things that I started to think about here as I sit and do some work through the day and try to get through my to-do list. And I have more energy now. I'm going to keep working until I burn out for the day. And then I've still got tomorrow. I'm going to have even more energy tomorrow. I already know. I'm recovering from the 3 days of burnout that I'm going to go through every week until I figure this out. But, you know, AI is trash, but it's going to run our lives, and that's where it's going, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just get ready, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to go grocery shopping. I want to end this video, but I just never run out of things to say. I'm literally going over to Target to go grocery shopping now, and I'm looking at a line of idiots willing to wait half an hour. I mean, the line will wrap through the store and go into the shopping aisles. People waiting to get a self-checkout thing with an overflowing cart of groceries. And there will be 5 cashiers with nobody in line. what the fuck's going? I mean, the only explanation that even makes any kind of sense to me right now with that is that it's theft. And maybe the store employees probably aren't allowed to confront the customers because, company policy or whatever. I mean, Target lets boys go to the girls' bathroom. So they probably just let people steal. But what other reason? What other reason could there possibly be for people to be willing to wait half an hour to ring up their own groceries instead of going right directly to the line where another person rings up your groceries and puts them in a bag for you and puts them in your cart for you and says, have a nice day? Every time I go grocery shopping there, this is what I see. This is one particular... I don't see this in every Target I go to, by the way. It's this particular Target here, and the clientele look like they're robbing the place blind. I mean, the place is a clusterfuck of beyond. I can't imagine this Target's going to be in business a lot longer because it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in terms of a store. This'll be when they bring to Texas like they're doing in California, where you walk into a store and everything in the store is behind a glass case. And anytime you want to buy something, you got to get an employee to come unlock the glass case, pull the thing off the shelf. Maybe they got to take it up front and hold it for you until you come up to the front of the store because you're not allowed to put it in your own cart. Why would they even have a shopping cart in those stores anymore? And now those stores are going out of business because people are just like, fuck it, I'll go online. I'm not going to CVS. I got to buy 6 things and I got to have someone with a key come up and open up 6 different glass cases for me to get the 6 things I came to the store for. Fuck that. No, I'll go somewhere else. I could see Target right down the road here being, I can't even get lettuce. I can't even get a ball of lettuce from the produce section without someone having to open up a glass case and take the ball of lettuce up to the front of the store so that when I come up to the front of the store, the groceries I had them get for me are all up there. Like, I could see that happening at this place. I could totally see that happening. Just based on the fact alone that there's a line of people with full overflowing shopping carts winding back into the store, waiting to use the self-checkout line, and the checkout lines that have a cashier standing there are empty and nobody's in line. Like, it's great for me because I'm like, fuck, I want to go get the hell out of here. Most of the time it's the other way around. You got all these big lines for the cashiers, and so people are using the self-checkout line so they can get out of the store faster. And I'm willing to do that. If I've got like 3 things, I'll be like, yeah, I'll use the self-checkout. It'll get me out of here quicker. If I got an overflowing cart of groceries, I'm going to the line. I don't want to ring all that crap up myself and bag my own groceries and all that. No. That's what we're paying for when we go to the grocery store. We're paying them to do it. But this is how we talk. I mean, masks. It's 2025, and you've got these fucking idiots walking around with these masks on their face. I was walking around Target the other day, and there was a whole family of people wearing their masks. Mom and dad, 3 kids, and a baby. They had a baby in a fucking baby thing in the shopping cart, in like some sort of baby carrier seat thing with a fucking mask on its face. Like, I guarantee you, this fucking family, these kids don't even know what mom and dad look like because mom and dad are just walking around with a fucking Darth Vader mask on all day. They watch Star Wars and they see the stormtroopers and Darth Vader and they think that that's their aunt and uncle. These kids probably freak out when they see faces because they're probably spending all their time at home wearing masks. That baby's gonna be fucking whacked when that baby grows up. That baby's gonna be completely shot out. That baby's gonna be useless to society, I can tell you that. Growing up in that fucking retarded ass family. But I mean, holy shit. Gen X, all you Gen X kids out there, What would we have done if mom and dad said you got to walk around with this stupid ass mask on your face? How many of you would have gone along with that one? Fuck no. My mom told me that my limit for my bicycle rides is 40 miles from the house. And I was like, fuck you, I do what I want. You think Gen X was gonna walk around with a fucking muzzle on our faces all day? You think if they had told us that we have to wear the thing on our face when we go to school, none of us would have went to school. None of us. Maybe like the 3 kids whose mom and dad work at the school, whose mom and dads were either teachers or the principal or whatever. There's like maybe 5 kids I went to school with whose mom and dad or mom and dad or mom or dad worked at the school either as a teacher or somebody important. There would have been 5 kids going to school with a mask on their face, and the rest of us would have been out fucking around, doing whatever we want. That's how Generation X would have handled that situation. I absolutely guarantee you that's how it would have went. You didn't tell us what to fucking do. You didn't. Our parents, we'd come home from school on the last day of June or whatever, when summer vacation would start, and our parents would say, all right, get the fuck out of the house and don't come back until September. You know, like that's how we were treated. That's how we grew up. Kids, you know, there were kids that would come home from school. Their parents weren't coming home from work for another 4 hours. They had to let themselves in, make their own dinner. And that's like, you're in the 1st grade and you're already living like you're on your own. And that's how we grew up. That's how Gen X grew up. You tell Gen X that they got to put on a fucking mask and go to school like that, we'd have been like, eat a dick. See ya. Tell me in the comments if you're Generation X. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know a single fucking kid. When I was a kid, when we were in high school, the teachers were protesting their pay or something. You know, they wanted to get a raise, and the school board said no. So the teachers were like, oh, we're going to protest. And we had a basketball team. We had a basketball game, and the teachers were out in front of the school in a picket line. And so the basketball team pulled up, and they were like, we're out. And they left, and they didn't come play the game, and our school took a loss. The entire fucking school, all the students in the entire school, we all went out into the hallway the next day, and we sat down and said, fuck you, we're not going to class. All of us, the entire fucking school. We all just walked out into the hallway. We left class. We sat down in the hallway to hang out. And when the teacher said, go back to class, we all went, eat a dick. We're not going back to class until you figure this shit out. And guess what? They had to figure that shit out. They had to figure that shit out today. They had the teachers, they were like blown. They're like, holy shit, what do we do? We don't even, they won't go back to class. Make them. We can't. What do we do? I swear, I think they called the fucking cops. The news media came. We just sat in the hall. Every time they told us to get up, we said, eat a dick. No, we're not getting up. Fuck you. You think those kids, you think we would have wore a fucking mask to school? No, it wouldn't happen. Mom and dad, fuck, they know. They know. They would have never tried to make us wear a mask. Mom and dad wouldn't have told me to wear a mask. They would already know how that was going to go. That wouldn't have even been a request that would have been made in my house growing up, because mom and dad know, no, they're not going to, these kids aren't going to listen to us. They don't listen to us anyway. They're definitely not going to do that. And, but now these kids, now there's a family walking around Target, mom, dad, 3 kids, and a fucking baby wearing masks on their face in 2025, for fuck's sake. What the fuck, man? That baby is going to grow up to be a fucked up kid. That baby is going to shoot up a school. That baby is going to be, if that's a boy baby, that baby's going to be cutting off its dick and wearing a dress by the time it's 9 years old, walking around in a fucking mask with fake boobies and some sort of man pussy contraption thing that they had sewn on. And then it's going to get to be like 14 years old and walk into school with a fucking gun and kill all the kids in school. That's what's about to happen to that family. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do. I don't want to participate in this retarded ass shit show, but I got to figure something out. And I'm going to get back to doing that. So I'll see y'all later. Peace out. All right, what's up? Another segment. Why not? Going through my daily checklist today. And, I'm getting things done. I got energy. As the day wore on, I got energy, but definitely, I don't know, man. I applied to some jobs, professional jobs, and jobs that are just jobs that are within walking distance of where I live. Once again, I can apply to 15 to 20 professional jobs in the time it takes to apply to one minimum wage job. And that's consistent. That I think that is absolutely hilarious that a Burger King job, you have to jump through more hoops to fill out a job application than a 6-figure software design job requires you to jump through. Like, that blows my mind. I remember when I was younger, this was before we used the internet to fill out job applications, but you could walk into a Burger King, fill out a job application, walk away. Sometimes they give you an interview right on the spot for a place like that. Now it's like a 2-hour long job application. Yet I can apply to 12 to 15 professional jobs with my professional resume that are going to pay, on average 120 to 150,000 a year. If I were to land one of those jobs, I can apply to those jobs in about 5 minutes per job. And that includes coming up with a cover letter. That includes, answering whatever questions. They all have a little bit of a different application process. Some are a little faster than others, but I'm telling you, every single one of these minimum wage jobs that you can apply to now is a ridiculous shit show. There was a burger joint down the street. I got on their website and started to apply to that job, and their system was completely broken, and I couldn't even finish the job application. I think I got it submitted eventually, but you have to be maybe being an expert in IT and being able to troubleshoot software issues, maybe I'm the only one who is able to successfully submit a job application in the last 3 months. Maybe the people at this company are wondering why nobody will apply for a job with them, but maybe, hundreds of people are trying and can't get their system to do the job. Wow. It was it's amazing. It's amazing to see this. I feel like I live in a clown world. They talk about clown world all the time. I can't believe it's harder to apply for a job at Burger King than it would be to apply for a job as a rocket scientist with SpaceX. I'm dead serious. It would be easier to apply. Not that I'm qualified in any way, shape, or form to get a job as a rocket scientist with SpaceX, but I could fill out I could get the application sent quicker than applying to a job for Burger King. Why? You would think they would put more hoops in the way of a professional job than I get maybe sometimes they make these things so ridiculous to weed out people who can't get through the process. Because, if you have a minimum wage job, maybe that's a strategy. Maybe that's an actual strategy that human resources managers got together and said, you know what? Let's make these minimum wage jobs super hard to apply to. That way, it'll limit the number of people we have to sift through to call in for an interview. I don't know. Maybe that's a logical explanation for it. Anyhow, I tried to resolve this thing with, I mentioned earlier today, I have stock photography accounts, and they only allow you to get paid with 2 platforms. One is PayPal. The other one is a fly-by-night shitty-ass company called Skrill, Skrill. I guess they used to be called money bookers back in the day, and they changed their name to Skrill because, they're hip and cool or whatever. I've sent them 3 different documents that they've asked me for to verify my identity and my address, my physical mailing address. And they've not only rejected all the documents that I sent that clearly show my address, they've locked me out of the account. Now, the account had no money in it. I just set this up recently. About a few weeks ago, I set up the account, and they told me that I needed to verify my address. But I literally had just moved into this apartment a few days beforehand. And the only reason I signed up for that account was I have one stock photo site where I'm like within a few, I would say like within a week of earning enough money to get paid. And it's like $25. It's no big deal. I can let the money sit there and accumulate for some time. But I can't have a PayPal account. I've already done that. I've already burned through that. You can't have a PayPal account if you're on someone's family plan and the phone bill is not in your name. They will not allow it. They also will not allow you. You can look up what I'm saying. This is true. Like, people all over the internet, people have been complaining about this on message boards like Reddit and other places. People have been complaining about this with PayPal. I've seen posts as far back as 2016, 2017. I didn't know. I had a PayPal account for years, and I would use it sparingly, mostly to get these payments from these kind of places. And occasionally I might buy something with PayPal just to have a little bit of separation between the bank account that I'm paying with and the payer that's receiving the payment. Every now and then I'm like, I don't want to use my debit card. I don't want to use, I don't want to give them too much info. I'll just use PayPal, let it go through PayPal. A few times over the years. And I never had a problem. But back in the day, I had a phone number for years and years and years that was under my name. But on my PayPal account, when I got out of prison, I changed the phone number to my account, and I linked a new bank account to that account. And then I used PayPal to pull money out of I had hundreds of dollars in the stock photography account. 2 different ones that I use, the 2 that pay the best. I had like 150 in one. I had over 200 in the other. I had about, I had like $300 to $400 sitting there when I just got out of prison. And the funny thing is, I moved that all over through PayPal, got the money put in PayPal, transferred the money from PayPal to my bank account, no problem. And then I let it sit there. I didn't touch that bank account for much of anything. So when I became homeless, the fact that I had money in that bank account kind of screwed me the first day I went to social services. But it all worked out. And it actually, in the end, it helped me because I had I had about $300 in that bank account when I became homeless. Plus I had a little bit of cash left over. Some things of mine got sold while I was away in prison, and I was handed, it wasn't even $1,000, but I got some cash when I came home. So between that and what was in that bank account, I was able to kind of survive until I started getting my food stamps and all that stuff. And then I started to run into problems with PayPal. Like, you guys were donating to the digital chicken bucket, and I accumulated a little bit of money. It wasn't a lot, but I go to move it to my bank account, frozen. PayPal freezes the account, locks me out. I have to call customer service and go through this whole rigmarole to get my account unlocked. They moved the money for me to my checking account, so it actually did get transferred, and they unlocked my account so I could log back in. Some more money comes into my PayPal account. Once again, locked out permanently this time, and I had to call customer service and they can verify who you are a million ways from Sunday, especially when you call them and you're answering one question after the next, and you can verify beyond beyond a shadow of a doubt who you are with them. But then they'll tell you, well, we can't let you log back into your account because your phone number's been flagged. And so, like I said, even if you get a new phone number from Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whoever, and somebody else owned that phone number before you, and they had a PayPal account with that phone number, PayPal will block you from having a PayPal account with that phone number because it's already been used with their system. And they also have a way to check to see if the phone number on your account is billed to your name. So if you're the wife of a husband who has a family plan and you want to have a PayPal account, this will happen to you. You can read about it. There's tons and tons and tons of, if all you got to do is Google what I'm saying, and you'll find tons of people who have the same problem. Same exact problem. I'm on a family plan. PayPal locked me out of my account. I had to fight to get my money back. They tell me that I can't have an account if the phone bill's not in my name. So now I'm screwed. Now it's not a huge deal because I'm not very focused on that part of my income stream right now. But right now, as it stands, I have all these stock photo accounts that I can sell photography through, but I'm not allowed to get paid for any of it. Why? Because I don't qualify for both payment options, and those are the only payment options that they have. There are many other payment platforms out there now besides PayPal and Skrill. Skrill is just, it sucks. I just got some asshole from India who I called them, and I just set the phone off to the side while I was filling out job applications and let the music play until someone answered the phone. And it was it was a rude asshole from India. He was rude from the get. Like, I was polite, he was rude. Finally, I was just like, you know what, fuck you. And I got rude back with him. I just told him, I said, look, I'm trying to verify. I explained up front when he asked me why I was calling. I'm trying to verify my account, and you keep rejecting the documents that I send to verify who I am and my address. And he turns on, he's like, well, that is because you have to update, you have to upload documents with your address on them, and then we verify you. And I'm like, yeah, did you not listen to anything I just said? I literally just said that I'm trying to upload the documents that you're asking me for with my proof of address to verify my identity, and you're rejecting the documents. And now you're responding to me with, I have to upload documents with my address on it so you can verify my address. So obviously you didn't listen to a word I fucking said. Like, what? So at this point, I don't have any money in that account. I've never put money in it. I've never received a payment through them or there's nothing to lose here. I just figured I'd try and set up an account with them, get paid, and either move the money to my checking account, which they'll charge me a big fee for that. PayPal doesn't charge a fee. Or the other option would be to try and spend the money directly out of my Skrill account with Amazon. Now, if I can get the money in the Skrill account, they have virtual credit card numbers that you can generate, and you can make payments with those. Those are kind of hit or miss. Amazon might reject it. But if I had like $30 in that account and I go to buy something with Amazon, I could easily find a way to put that towards something I want to get for the house and count it as good enough. Not pay any fees, not pay any transaction fee to move it from there to my checking account. I figured, why not? If I can get some payments from these stock photo sites, there are things that I could buy some groceries on Amazon and just use that to pay for it. It's not any real difference there between that and moving it to a checking account and using that to pay for groceries. So fine, whatever. But they're making it impossible. I can't even use the account because I can't verify my address. I've given them 3 different documents that are on their list, and they reject. So I don't know. I'm going to throw that off to the side, give up. I'm going to give up on that. That's not worth my time right now. I'll just let that money accumulate in the stock photo site. And then I'll try and go get, I'm planning on going to get a phone in my name. As soon as I get settled in a little bit more. As soon as I get settled in a little bit more, go get a phone in my name, wait a couple of months, get a couple of bills where the phone bill is in my name, pay the bills, whatever, and then go back to PayPal and try to set up a PayPal account with the new phone number, fresh, clean PayPal account, and then do a test transaction, get paid from the stock photo agency and see if I can deposit that, move it from stock photo site to PayPal to checking account, and maybe buy something via PayPal to just to push a couple of transactions through and see if I can make it work. And if not, then I don't know at this point. Everything in this world is just a clusterfuck right now. And it's all based on Indian customer support assholes who don't even speak English, and artificial intelligence bots and robots that don't work the way they're supposed to. And I don't know what the fuck we're all supposed to do right now, man. It's a shitty world. It's a shitty world. I mean, you're gonna go. It's not gonna be long. It's not gonna be long before your whole life is controlled by artificial intelligence. And it's going to be dumb. You're not going to be able to, the day is coming where you're not going to be able to solve any problem. In fact, I was talking to Grok on Twitter, X, asking it some questions, just, kind of like you do with Siri, and you just want to goof around and see what Siri will tell you. When, people ask dumb questions on the iPhone and see. There was some pretty. I asked Grok. What did I say? Wait, where is it? Did it? Come on. Oh, I don't have it. I thought I copied and pasted this into my notes. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it. Well, I basically asked Grok, how long is it going to be before, instead of talking to people from India when you call a company for customer support, how long will it be before they switch from people in India to an artificial intelligence bot talking to you? And Grok basically told me 5 to 10 years from now, that's what it'll be. The AI bot told me, within 5 to 10 years, instead of talking to somebody over in India when you call for help, you're going to be talking to an actual robot, and you won't be able to talk to a human being anymore. So prepare for that, because that's going to be a wild ride. Imagine getting locked out of your bank account and you call and talk to a robot and you can't get anywhere with it because it's a bot. Imagine that you have an actual serious problem that you need a human being to resolve. The artificial intelligence bot on the phone isn't going to give you the time of day. They're just going to repeat some script over and over again, or they're just going to completely botch the job, and you're going to have no recourse. Give it 20 years. There'll be CEOs of companies that are a bot instead of a human. Like the CEO of AT&T might be a AI bot, an actual bot for a CEO instead of a human being. This is the kind of shit we get to look forward to in our future. Where this is all going. It's not there yet, but the way they talk about artificial intelligence and the factor at which it doubles, quadruples, its learning, its rate of learning and its pace of increasing its own intelligence it's like doubling the amount of power, and it's doubling the amount of knowledge that it contains almost on a weekly basis now. There was a period of time, now I'm Generation X, I grew up when computers were clunky and crappy. My stepdad was a software engineer using punch cards on like IBM mainframes and that kind of crap like that. He was an old school, like he used the original computers basically. That's what he learned on. And in just one generation from him, Generation X, we went from like the Apple II. The Apple II was, that was the computer that made Apple rich. And the green screen, the clackety keyboard, the floppy disk, and I'm not talking the 3.5-inch plastic floppy disk. I'm talking about the floppy disk that was 5.25 inches, big old black floppy thing that you slide into a drive. That's why they were called floppy disks. The plastic hard ones, the 3.5-inch, they were called floppy disks, but they weren't floppy at all. The disk inside might have been, but it was a hard piece of plastic. No, when I was a kid, we used floppy disks, and you couldn't bend them, and you had to be careful with them and all that, and they came in a little envelope to protect them. And my generation, Gen X, we watched the speed of computers double every 6 months. It was like every 6 months they would come out with new computers that were twice as fast as the ones 6 months ago. And then 6 months later, they're twice as fast again. 6 months later, they're twice as fast again. 6 months, so on and so forth. When I went to college, my first Mac that I owned cost like $6,000. It had 1 gigabyte. It had a 1 gigabyte hard drive. 1 gigabyte hard drive. And that was considered massive. Like, that was like, people were like, oh my God, you have a whole gigabyte? Holy shit, dude, that's crazy. What are you going to do with all that? That was the top of the line. That was the top of the line Macintosh that you could buy in 1995. 1 gigabyte hard drive. It had 8 megabytes of RAM. To upgrade it to 16 megabytes of RAM, it was like $500 for 2 RAM chips. By the time a few years later, we have 500 gigabyte hard drives and 16 gigabytes of RAM in a machine. And it just keeps going and going and going. And then they come out with the solid state hard drive. And all of a sudden the computers are lightning fast compared to what before the solid state hard drive. Freaking that was a lightning jump in speed. But over time the computers were just getting every 6 months twice as fast, 6 months twice as fast. That slowed down about 2010. Around 2010, when the MacBooks when they came out with the MacBooks that were magnesium case, the MacBook as you know them today. It came out in around 2009. They started doing that, and that's also when the speed of the things kind of slowed down. Now they're not getting twice as fast every 6 months. They kind of capped out. They kind of topped out on their speeds. The way that they're making computers faster now is, different trickery with chips and things like that. And the SSD drives are really fast, and they're just giving you more and more capacity. But I have a 2012 MacBook Pro sitting right next to me. I use it as a TV, 2012. And I have a 2019 MacBook Pro sitting right in front of me right now. The speed difference between those two computers is not huge. You can almost do the same stuff on the 2012 as the 2019. And this 2019, it's like almost 6 years old now. Granted, I was away for a few of those years. They came out with the M1, M2, M3 MacBook Pros. All of the new Apple computers have dedicated AI chips in them. My MacBook that I'm holding on to right now is the last Intel-based MacBook that they made, and it doesn't have the AI chip. So if I upgrade to the newest operating system that's available, I can't even remember what it is because I'm on Sonoma right now, whatever the newest one is, because I'm not planning on doing it for a while. I don't get the benefits of upgrading to the newest operating system because all the new features of the new operating system require an Apple processor, because it's all artificial intelligence based stuff now, and it won't run on these older MacBooks because they need to have a dedicated AI chip in the motherboard. And so that's where everything's moving now. They've kind of been like, okay, we made computers about as fast as we can with the technology that we're currently using. The speed differences year to year to year aren't huge. They're doing other things that make it worth upgrading every few years, but they're not. The computers aren't noticeably faster. They're a little bit faster, but you're not getting the speed when Gen X, when we were growing up, every 6 months you'd get on a computer that's brand new and you'd be like blown away by how much faster it is than the computer you just got 6 months ago. And in my career, I was changing jobs all the time. I was getting handed a new computer every 6 months. Every 6 months to a year, I was getting handed a new computer at a job, or I was going to a new job with it, getting a new computer there. And every time I jump on a computer that's 6 months to a year newer than the one I just left, it was like mind-blowing. The speed difference was like, whoa! It was like going from a Pinto to a Ferrari every time. But then around 2009, there was a big jump, and everybody's like, wow, these MacBooks are crazy fast and really crazy cool, and all that. And now it's just kind of leveled out. And you see it across all the computing world. Phones, they're not getting that much faster from generation to generation. The computers aren't getting that much faster from one gen to the next. The video game consoles, they haven't changed much since the Xbox One and the PlayStation 5. They're pretty much stuck. And the PlayStation 4 isn't that much worse than a PlayStation 5. They've kind of just maxed out what they can do with the technology that they're using. Now there's some weird shit going on. Now they're taking actual human brain tissue and building computer processors out of it. Google it. Don't take my word for that. Google it. These computer processors, they eat, they breathe, they pee and fart and shit. And they have a whole self-contained unit for a human brain computer chip that allows it to, because it's a biological computer. So who the fuck knows what they're about to do with that stuff. But look it up. Don't take my word for it. This is a real thing that's going on right now. But the technology, it's kind of plateaued right now. So all this artificial intelligence, that's what they're beating into your head every day. Every day. You don't go a day anymore without being bombarded with information about AI and where it's going and what it's doing and all this and that and the other thing. And it's just becoming more and more powerful day by day by day. And if you are a video game fan, the best analogy of what's going on with AI is if you ever played the original Assassin's Creed trilogy, we're building right now we're following almost verbatim the script of the first handful of Assassin's Creed games. I mean, we're basically building a way for the demons to interact with us and talk back and forth with us. That's basically what we're building. Scott, and it's kind of like a cross between that and the Terminator and some of these other, Lawnmower Man or whatever. There's a lot of different analogies of what's going on, but we're basically building our own doomsday machine here. But it's not going to be it's not like Skynet just takes control one day and starts throwing nuclear bombs around. No. You'll see that AI is going to take over jobs that people used to do. The whole financial world will run off of AI systems. Human beings won't even be involved with it anymore. And in fact, if human beings did get involved, the world economy would crash because all of this AI shit is you're talking about nanoseconds to juggle all these transactions. And it'll basically, the thing will work its way into where it basically just owns the world economy And it's like a balancing act that is controlled by these AI bots to the point where a human being can't be involved, because the whole thing will collapse. It'll be a house of cards that only artificial intelligence will have the capacity and speed to maintain. If you think we live in a Ponzi scheme now, wait until that shit goes down. And it'll start to take over everything. Companies will be completely controlled and run by AI, making all the decisions. There won't, like I said, there won't be a CEO. Might have a face and a desk, a big fancy desk, but the CEO is no longer making any decisions. It's a bot that tells the CEO what the decisions are going to be. Like, there's going to be no human being making these decisions, and you can already see it. But it's not going to be good for us. You know, it's going to be about as good for us as when customer service was flown out to India. That's the level of service. It's going to be, India is probably going to be, you're probably going to have a better bet getting someone from India to fix your customer service issue than you're going to get having an AI bot do it for you. And like Grok told me, I was chatting with it today, and he told me that 5 to 10 years from now, when you call customer service, it won't be a human being anymore. It'll be a robot talking to you. And you won't have the choice to talk to a person. There won't be a person to talk to. If the bot can't do it, can't be done. And, you know, I mean, this dystopian future that we're all facing, this is why, like, you got to get your land, you got to get off the grid, get your food squared away. You got to be able to be self-sufficient and just unplug, pull that plug and just fucking disappear. Get away from this shit. Like, that should be your goal right now. My goal, that's like a pipe dream for me now. At one point it was a goal. Now my goal is to just survive this shit show. And figure out a way to just get back on my feet somehow. And then we can talk about, if I can find a way to get back on my feet and get some sort of actual job, then we can talk about, you know, getting a bug out property. Otherwise, I don't know, man. But, it's a lot to think about. I'm just taking a break for a half hour. I'm going to go back to doing my thing. It's already, like, the day is already gone. I got a lot done today. I just didn't get done what I wanted to get done today. And I've got one more day before I got to go back to that grind of riding a bicycle 40 miles just to work 8 back-breaking hours and make less than $100. And then I'm just going to completely destroy myself. By the time Tuesday gets here next week, I'll be annihilated again. I'll feel worse than I did this Tuesday. It's going to get worse every week until I figure this out. But now that I had energy today, I was like, well, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try the other thing. But, you know, I'm relying on, I don't know, maybe I'll get another text message from the AI bot at Lowe's telling me, hey, we would like to schedule an in-person interview with you, but unfortunately, we don't have any time slots available. I'll get back to you when we have a time slot available. Like, great, thanks for letting me know 5 times in a row. You know, you could have just ghosted me. Ghosting me would have been better than this nonsense, to be honest. I would rather get ghosted and just not told anything than to deal with that. Never heard back from the other one, GameStop. They said, you know, send me your first and last name and we'll set up an interview. Okay, here's my first and last name. No interview. No, it just didn't answer. It just didn't answer. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna poke around with it because I'm not gonna be rude, but I'm gonna see if I can play their. I'm just gonna see what I can do because I'm curious at this point. But I also look at it like, you know, if it's this impossible, if they're making it this hard and everything is this ridiculous, then there's a chance that there's a solid chance that maybe God just doesn't want that to be. And so I know this channel is supposed to be about living in a tiny house because that's what the title says, and as you can see, I'm living in it. I'm happy with it now. I cleaned it up enough. The landlord confirmed with me today that they will be here on Friday to finish the other part of the ceiling that you see above me, which means tomorrow I've got to move all the stuff out of the way. And so I can do it with a 2-step step stool. I'm not even going to order the 4-stepper because it won't get here on time. I put all the stuff up there so I can get it all down. And it's not a big deal. I'm looking at like a half hour tomorrow at some point in the afternoon to take a break, pull all that stuff down, set it off to the other side of the room, hope it doesn't get covered in, crud. And I'll take a picture of it before I take it all down. That way, when they leave and they're done with their work, I'll know exactly where everything goes. And it's like, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bags or boxes with some miscellaneous small things, a scanner and a printer. And there's some pretty heavy stuff up there, but I should be able to get it down. And if I can't, I can go borrow the dude's ladder. So I'll be all right. But tiny house, I don't know. Like, I just don't even know what to talk about with the tiny house itself. If you got stuff that you want to know, or like, do I have an idea for this or that or the other thing, in terms of like, I got very little space. I got to figure out how to maximize the space that I have and be able to do the most with the smallest amount of space. And so there's a lot of creative things I've had to do there since I moved in here. And there's ideas that I have of what I'll do when I get, next time I get paid, I'll go get I might get a rice cooker next. That's on my list. $20. I'll be able to cook rice and steamed vegetables, eat a little bit healthier. An air fryer. I'm supposed to be getting an air fryer. The landlord said he was going to take care of that. And I'm trying not to overload him. I'm really trying to get him to fix the hot water. He said he's supposed to hear back from the contractor before Friday. And if he doesn't, then he's going to have to find another contractor or something like that. But I'm also, in all my interactions when it comes to the, so here, here's some landlord advice. Every single interaction from the day that I said the hot water wasn't working, every single interaction back and forth is via text. I don't tell them these things. I might say it in person in passing when we're having a conversation, but when I need him to tell me like what's going on, it's text. Now I've got screenshots of everything. Here's the day I told him that the water was broke. Here's when he said it would be fixed. It's not fixed. Now he says it's going to be fixed on this date. Now I'm saying, why isn't it fixed yet? So on and so forth. There's a paper trail. So now if like I said, I don't want to have to go down and be an asshole about it. Or, I don't want to have to I got enough problems in my life. I don't want to make that another one. But I need to take a hot shower at some point. And I don't want to, I didn't sign up for a lease for this place so I could walk over to this guy's house and take a shower in his house. Which, okay, that's fine. But I signed a lease for this thing, and that's the shower that I'm paying for, and it needs to work. And we all know that. And believe me, I've done my homework. I'm well within my rights if I wanted to, put the foot down. But I'm also, there's this call from above telling me to just be cool. And maybe if be patient with some of these things, and they will work. I feel like if I'm patient with some of these things, everything's going to work out better in the end. And I don't mean better in terms of stress and human relationships. I mean better as in the work will end up being done better. I'll end up with a better actual result if I just wait it out instead of putting this guy in a rush to where he's just going to cobble something together to get me off his back. So, and this is all temporary. None of this is permanent. And I was thinking a little bit today about how, I was homeless 6 months ago. Homeless in Jamestown, New York, 6 months ago, with no idea what I was going to do. And now I've got some things going on. And so I've got some stress and some problems, but at the same time, it's like, would I want to go back to being homeless in Jamestown instead of where I'm at right now? No. So, mostly this channel is about coming back from the bottom, like rock bottom. I started this channel the day after I wound up homeless, the lowest day of my entire life. Literally, like that was worse than being in prison in so many different ways. That day, the first day I did a video on this channel, I'm in a better place now. Mentally, physically, financially, all of it. It's just not, it's not even close to comfortable at all. And I don't mean comfortable as in being rich. I mean comfortable as in I know I can survive a couple of months, pay my bills, and, just make it a couple, like I'm not, you got to get out, at some point you got to climb out of this daily survivor mode, just trying to survive one day at a time, because that will kill you. It will completely destroy you if you can't figure out how. And I don't think it's not up to me completely to figure out how to break from where I am to where I need to be. But I need to catch a break from the man upstairs if it's going to happen. And so I don't know, maybe I don't really know the direction I'm going to take this channel. I'm sitting here just running my mouth and kind of going off 20 different tangents on a video and making the videos 3 hours long now, because I just have every now and then I take a break and just sit in front of the camera and talk, and then I hit a couple of buttons, put it all together and push it up. The time I spend in front of the camera is 95% of the time it takes to do a video now. The rest of it's just bleep, bleep, bloop, wait for a bar to go across the screen. So I don't know. There's a million different things I could do. This last month and a half has shot me out mentally, gone. And you'll notice when I say that, down in the comment section, a lot of the trolls that were on the channel back when I was homeless, a lot of those trolls, there were a handful of them every single video. They're showing up and just acting like a bunch of douchebags. And it was the same 10, 15 people, video after video after video after video. And I was responding to all of them. I had time. I'm like, you think you're going to out-troll the guy who went to federal prison for being an internet troll? Think again. Go ahead. Go ahead and do it. But you're not going to out-troll the guy who went to federal prison for being a troll, for crying out loud. You think you're going to win that game? No, you're not. So, but knock yourself out. See if, I don't care. I'm just bringing up the topic up. Something must be about to get moving again, because they're showing up again. They all disappeared when I got a roof over my head. They're like, oh shit, he's not homeless anymore. I guess we got no business being here anymore. We're out. So they left. But I did a live stream last weekend. I'm going to try and download the video file from that and upload it to my channel and just put a link to his channel and just, show you guys what we talked about last weekend. He asked me a lot of questions about what prison was like and that kind of stuff. And we just kind of bounced around all over the place. It's about an hour long. My internet the upload or whatever, the lot, my part of it froze multiple times, and I had to keep reconnecting. It just seemed like whenever we talk about the wrong thing that YouTube didn't want you to hear, it would just freeze, and I'd have to reconnect. So, but I did notice a small number of people came over to this channel, and they must have come over here because of that stream. I'm still not back to the subscriber count I was the day I wasn't homeless anymore. That was the peak, and then it just dropped, and it hasn't come back to even that number. So I still haven't gained a subscriber yet, but I noticed some people popping in, and I noticed a whole bunch of trolls showing up in the comments after that stream. I think that was last weekend. It was last Sunday, so it's only been a few days. But you'll notice, if you're one of the regulars, if you're one of the people that come every time I post a video, you're going to see down in the comments there's a bunch of new trolls that are going to be showing up over the next week or so because of that. And then there will be and the funny thing is, when I was doing that live stream, I was glancing down at the comments that were being made during the stream, and it was just a whole bunch of douchebags. Like, there were a few good ones in there, but it was a lot of douchebags. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I was like focused on the conversation that we were having, and I think he would pick out a question here and there from the crowd and throw it at me, and I would do my best to answer, and whether the internet connection would cooperate or not was kind of, here or there. There might be some things I can do to improve that. Maybe if I do a live stream next time, I'll try and find a place with a really strong upload speed, 5G, outside somewhere near a tower with a good wide open, where the upload speed is banging. And maybe that'll help the problem. Go sit in a park somewhere. I don't know. It's Texas. The weather's nice. I could find that. I could do something like that. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. But, so you'll see that down in the troll section below, and whatever. Do what they're gonna do. What they're gonna do. Haters gonna hate. That's what they do. So cracks me up. I could care less. I really don't care. But I'm gonna point that out because I noticed it over the last few days. I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of trolls in the last few months, and now they're all coming. Now there's a bunch of new ones. And I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about last weekend. That's why they're all coming over from there. And that's only going to increase if the traffic on this channel goes up. If I were to start doing shorter videos that were more concise and more like on point and more like directly related to like tiny house specific stuff, maybe, there's probably a bunch of things I could do to get more traction. But right now I'm literally in a low place right now, and it's like everybody, all the good people out there who we interact all the time, we talk back and forth. Some of us talk outside of this loop here, either via email or other methods. People are like, look at where you were 6 months ago and look where you are now. I mean, you've come a long way, blah, 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 this and that, and it's great. And I feel that too. But I am like, my energy is at like an all-time low right now. And I knew this would happen when I moved in here because of the bicycling and the distance to the job. I knew this would have this effect. So there's no surprises there. There's no surprises, but it's really starting to, like, this is a major thing I got to figure out. And it's like, I may have to put things aside that are very important to get done just to get this problem out of my life. I don't know. Tomorrow's another day. I'm not getting any more emails or phone calls or anything today. I did what I could. I pushed. I tried to make connections where There were opportunities to do so. And tomorrow's another day. I tried to unstick things that were stuck. I got some things done, and yeah, it is what it is. There isn't much I can do about it from here, except the best you can. So I think I'm gonna let it go there. It's gonna be a long video. I'll splice these together. I'll just put them together in my phone's app, see if it'll allow me to save the file and upload it, and you'll probably see the results of these last 3 conversations in one video sometime tomorrow, is my guess. Yeah, I ain't got anything else to talk about, so I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace out.